1997 World Series coming your way from Cleveland, Ohio. Game 4 tonight as the two pennant winners meet here in Cleveland. With the Cleveland Indians taking the victory last night, they are up in this series 2-1. The Marlins and the Indians tonight in Game 4. It was cold last night. It is going to be colder tonight. There have been snow showers here in Cleveland this afternoon. Just a couple hours ago, it was really coming down. Despite that snow, the team stayed on the field and took batting and fielding practice. Welcome back to the Jake in Cleveland, everybody. I'm Gary Thorne along with Ken Singleton. Delighted to have you with us. 4 hours and 12 minutes last night, 9-inning game, 2 minutes shy of the record for a World Series game, Ken. It was a ball game that featured everything.
Everything, including 6 errors, bunch of hits, a lot of walks, 22 3-2 counts. But hopefully that will not happen again tonight. Bobby Bonilla, I guess he was typical of the ball game last night. Got off to a very poor start. Cold weather affected him right away. Bobby Bonilla at the plate in the 3rd inning. Well, he's going to wrap into a double play. Started by Jim Thome, the Cleveland first baseman. Bonilla with that bad leg had problem beating that play out. Then in the field, his glove was no better. Knocks down a ball, can't recover. The cold hands might have had something to do with it. In the 4th inning, another key play in the game. Bonilla with his 2nd error of the ball game throws one away, and that led to some Cleveland runs as they led early in the ball game. But then in the 6th, things started to turn around for Bonilla and the Marlins. Great play to throw out Matt Williams, ends an inning, and the Marlins cap off that inning, not giving up any runs. Later on in the ball game in the ninth, Bobby Bonilla with the bad hamstring and all takes off for 3rd base. The throw goes wild. He is able to score, and the Marlins open up the ball game with a 7-run 9th inning. Gary Sheffield, the superstar for the Marlins, had a great night trying to stay warm in the dugout. He got warm right away in the 1st inning. His home run against the wind to left field gives the Marlins a quick 1-0 lead. They would give that up later on, but Sheffield would be back. In the 7th inning, a double to the gap in right center field will score some more runs. Marquise Grissom, no chance to get it. That ball had the wind behind it. Sheffield was off to a great night in which he would drive in 5 runs. Not only the bat, but with the glove, making a great play up against the wall to take away a home run from Jim Thome. Sheffield flashing the leather out in right field. Then he caps it off in the 9th inning with a base hit as the Marlins got it going with that 7-run 9th, and Sheffield's big blow helped cap the inning off for the Marlins as they went on to win the ball game 14-11.
What a night for the two big stars, brought over for this very purpose. 1 for 5, 2 RBIs Bonilla. Those 5 RBIs for Sheffield, just one shy of the World Series record set back in 1960 by the Yankees' Bobby Richardson. Then came the ninth.
Yeah, we mentioned the 9th inning, big 9 for the Marlins. It was the poor play of the Indians that helped them. An error by Marquise Grissom, Gold Glove center fielder, opened the door for the tie-breaking run as Bonilla crosses home plate. That set up an intentional walk to Cliff Floyd, and while Floyd was at first base, Eric Club throws over there. The ball can't be handled by Jim Thome. Darren Dalton scores. That scores another run. Then the 3rd error by the Indians in the inning comes from sure-handed Tony Fernandez. Not so sure-handed on this play, as the Indians will tie a World Series record by making 3 errors in 1 inning.
I say that because generally at the start of the year, you get some very cold games. You take a look here at the numbers for these two clubs and the temperatures they've played under. In Florida, 28 degrees Celsius, the regular season average temperature. In Cleveland, 20 degrees Celsius, the average. Last night, starting at 9, and tonight at 2 degrees Celsius. That is a substantial difference. Leah Thompson is going to be performing our national anthem here tonight, and she is being escorted out onto the field with the color guard behind. I'm on the play-by-play. A great view you don't often see. The national anthem for a baseball game, the balloons being released, and all around all of it, it's snowing. Game 4, the 1997 World Series when we come back. Out there on the mound, Ken.
Yeah, he is one-minded out there. That's getting his ball club a victory. Jared Wright will throw very hard tonight. Fastball in the mid-90s, has 2 different breaking balls. One thing he worked on last year in the Arizona Fall League is a 2-seam fastball, one that sinks away from left-handed hitters.
Let's take a look at the lineup that he's going to be facing tonight. Brought to you by MasterCard for Jimmy Leland and the Florida Marlins. It'll be White leading it off. Renteria and Sheffield the top 3. Bonilla, Dalton, and Alou. Jim Eisenreich, the designated hitter again. Behind the plate, Johnson and Greg Counsell will be making that start at second base.
Just saw that motion. That motion with the hand, kind of moving his hand to the right. That means he's working on the sinker. 3 games in postseason, 2-0 record. Both his wins coming in the division series against the New York Yankees. I think the Yankees saw enough of Jared Wright. He was throwing very hard, striking out quite a few hitters. Not quite as successful in the American League Championship Series against the Orioles, but still the Cleveland Indians got through that one. And now they need Mr. Wright to come through again and tie up this World Series if he has a good outing tonight.
Huge start. I mean, this is a huge position to put a 21-year-old right-hander in.
Defensively for the Indians tonight, the same setup as they had in last night's ball game. Williams and Vizquel. Gold Glove winners again. For Matt Williams, his 4th, and Omar Vizquel, his 5th. So 9 Gold Gloves on the left side of the infield, and these guys can make all the plays over there. Vizquel and Matt Williams.
Gold Glove announcements were made today, so congratulations to the 2 of them who have come away with the Gold Gloves again this season. And there you see the Gold Glove winners in the American League. Ivan Rodriguez again behind the plate with it. Mike Mussina, the pitcher. Rafael Palmeiro at first. Chuck Knobloch at second. Jimmy Edmonds, Ken Griffey Jr., and Bernie Williams in the outfield. Those are the Gold Glove winners this year.
I think we had an email question: what determines whether you win a Gold Glove? It's voted on by the managers throughout the league. The best fielders at each position.
And we are ready to go. Devon White. And the first pitch by Jared Wright is outside for a ball. White, the switch hitter, 3 for 14 in the World Series. Overall this postseason, hitting only 196. This veteran has had a very tough postseason. Not been able to get on base and generate the kind of potential running offense this team could have if he can get on. Right with that hard fastball. Boy, he does come right at you.
Well, he threw a good sinker to the outside corner, then up with the power fastball.
1-2 delivery fouled off. Stays alive.
And I'll tell you another thing. He's working very quickly, probably just to keep warm.
And also, I think probably as a result of last night. I mean, the players complained last night about their own pitchers, that both of them were taking way too long, the 2 starters. And the infielders in particular were struggling to keep warm so they could make plays. So Jared Wright may feel as though he's got an obligation to the guys behind him tonight to work this game a little faster.
Work quickly, get them off the field, back into the dugouts where they can get semi-warm.
Throwing at 94 miles an hour to start this game. White again fouls that one off. And the count holds at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Good at bat already here by Devon White. Fell behind early in the count. Wright wanted to get him out of there in a hurry, and White has not allowed that to happen by fighting off some pitches. He's making the 21-year-old right-hander work a little bit here. Fans at the Jake are up and cheering. They want their team to even this series up. Just missed. Did he go? Yes. Wow. Ed Montague down at third base, and Devon White is a strikeout victim.
Well, I'm not so sure about this one. We'll check the replay and see if he does go around too far. Oh, yeah, he did. Now I'm sure. Devon White looked like he chased a slider or a cut fastball inside and is retired. Yeah, you can see that he goes too far beyond home plate. Makes an attempt to swing the bat. Ed Montague with the correct call at third base.
That'll bring up Edgar Renteria. Renteria 4 for 12 here in the World Series. Wright gets his first strikeout. He struck out 63 in 90 innings during the regular season. He is just a hard thrower. 2-seamer, 4-seamer fastball. Just keeps bringing it at you.
You know, it's what Mike Hargrove said about wanting to know whether Jared Wright had much left in his tank. He said that he's thrown more innings than he's ever thrown, and you certainly don't want to hurt a 21-year-old pitcher. He's not one of those veteran arms like Orel Hershiser.
And a base hit into right field. Good inside out swing that time by Renteria to deliver that single the other way. A hard thrower when he's coming in on you, Ken. That's one of the things you can do with it.
Yeah, I think hitters on a night like tonight and last night want to make sure they get the barrel of the bat on the ball. And there it is. There's the barrel of the bat, the business end. And a solid hit in the right field for Edgar Renteria.
So a runner on at first base, Renteria. Gary Sheffield, who had the big night last night, will stand in and try and move him around. Sheffield, an enormous night. Every at bat, there was no opportunity to pitch around him. So they just couldn't walk him, couldn't put him on, had to throwing pitches that were strikes, and he took advantage of it with the 5 RBIs, including the home run he picked up in the first inning that he lashed into the wind into left field. Everybody today was talking about how hard that ball must have been hit to get through that wind and travel into the seats and left. He really stung it. And he's having a great World Series and postseason. 371 overall in the postseason. Jim Thome will hold the bag at first on Renteria. 1-0 count on Sheffield with the outfield deep, playing him to pull in center. And the breaking ball misses down low. A cutter right there. 2-0.
See the outfielders very deep, playing Sheffield just about straight away. Maybe Grissom in center, a step or two towards the left field side of second base.
Greg Kosk from the American League behind the plate. Randy Marsh, Ken Kaiser, Ed Montague, Dale Ford, and Joe West. 3 from each league, the umpiring crew, and they too are well bundled up. Ken Kaiser, the man who's in the mask right now, only he's not behind the plate. And a 3-0 count on Sheffield. Wright is being very careful.
Well, you can see right away he is keeping the ball down to Sheffield. Sheffield with a good long look at the third base coach Rich Donnelly to see if he has the green light.
Renteria with not a big lead at first base and not going, and the pitch misses, and it's a walk. So Wright surrenders a walk here after getting the strikeout. The next 2 reach. Renteria goes down to second. Sheffield is on at first base, and there are 2 on here in the first inning for Bobby Bonilla.
Sheffield continues his streak of walking. 17 times now he's walked in the postseason. At least once in every game.
All 13 games he has drawn at least 1 walk in. Now Bobby Bonilla gets the opportunity for the RBI. And Bonilla goes after it, and the runners are moving. So Jimmy Leland being aggressive out there as he sent both Renteria and Sheffield on the first pitch to Bobby Bonilla.
You know, each manager trying to get off to a good jump, put his team in the lead, give a young pitcher a cushion to work with, and trying to exploit the fact that Jared Wright maybe doesn't hold runners that well. Maybe he has a high leg kick to the plate, and maybe Renteria can, and they pass that information along to the base runners, and maybe they can get a good jump.
Bonilla 2 World Series RBI so far. 0-1 count to him. Jarrett Wright just missed the outside corner with it. 1 ball and 1 strike. Bonilla. Jimmy Leland was interesting talking about his third baseman today, about that hamstring pull he's got. Did you think about pinch running for him in the game last night when it seemed to be appropriate? He said absolutely not. Bonilla lifts that one foul. He said, I'm going to push him. I'm going to keep him in there, and I'm going to push him to make him play. Bobby Bonilla has a history of, he loves the limelight. He played in Pittsburgh for Jimmy Leland. Leland knows that. Bonilla will hot dog it a little bit sometimes if the camera's on him. And Jimmy Leland's not going to let him do that here in the World Series. He's going to make him play. Right with a 1-2 delivery, and Bonilla towards second base. Tony Fernandez to short, Vizquel over to first, and they turn 2. Bonilla hits into the double play, and the first World Series inning ever for the 21-year-old right-hander Jared Wright is a successful one, helped out by some good D. Cleveland coming up. Now turning into a business center for Mike Hargrove, the manager of the Indians. Roberts, Vizquel, and Ramirez at the top. Justice, Williams, and Alomar. Thome, Fernandez, and Grissom, the starting lineup for Cleveland. Tony Saunders, 23-year-old left-hander. His first World Series start, and a strike on the outside corner to the switch hitter Bip Roberts.
His yearly numbers, or I should say his postseason numbers. Got 1 start in the National League Championship Series, got a no decision in Game 3.
He worked 5 1/3 innings, gave up 4 hits in that game, walked 3, struck out 3 in that start. Bip Roberts in the leadoff spot, trying to get on to get a running game going for the Indians. Outside corner strike. We're going to see exact opposites tonight in these pitchers, Ken.
Yeah, Saunders more of a changeup pitcher, likes to keep the fastball away. He grew up, one of his heroes was Tom Glavine. And, of course, that's where Glavine keeps the pitches away, just like that last one.
He even looks like he in his windup a little bit. Bip Roberts had to go after that pitch. 2 strikes had been called on the outside corner. He couldn't let that one go by, and he's a strikeout victim.
And that was a changeup. Roberts out in front, strikes out. Out number 1, picked up on a strikeout. You think more of Jared Wright is striking people out.
102 strikeouts in 111 innings for Tony Saunders during the season. Omar Vizquel, another switch hitter, only 2 for 12. Postseason has not been kind to this Gold Glover who had such a great year. Vizquel batting only .218 now overall in postseason. And that has hurt Cleveland at the top of the order as they count on Vizquel getting on base, especially after his .280 regular season. 1 ball, 1 strike on him. Vizquel at .265 right-handed, .285 left-handed during the regular year. Tony Saunders fastball inside, 2-1.
I think one thing the fans should remember tonight is Livan Hernandez has already won a game, and he's a rookie. Tony Saunders is also a rookie. No team has ever had 2 rookies win a game in the World Series.
And a base hit into left field. Lou will get it back in, and Vizquel is on with a single with 1 down here in the first inning.
Check out the Marlins defensively, and it looks very familiar to last night. In fact, it's the same lineup defensively. Both managers staying with the same teams in the lineups. And the Gold Glover announced today, Charles Johnson. As you might expect, he didn't make an error all season long.
Question of whether who's going to win the most Gold Gloves in their careers, Charles Johnson or Rodriguez. Greg Maddux, the pitcher, and you see the rest of the Gold Glovers they've had. Manny Ramirez up, the right fielder. Vizquel on at first base with a single. We should note, Ken, we were talking about, and we thank all the people who responded on our website, the criteria for awarding a Gold Glove. Patrick Ruby of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, asked that question, as he explained earlier. Voted on. Right field, it is deep. Back of the wall, looking up. Goodbye, home run, Manny Ramirez. And the Cleveland Indians jump out in the first inning to a 2-0 lead.
You know, Manny Ramirez might have benefited from the at-bat by Bip Roberts. Everything was away to Bip Roberts. He eventually struck out. Manny Ramirez has good power to all fields, and he knows the wind's blowing out to right field. If he gets something up in the air to right field with some power, it'll go out. The wind will take care of the rest. And there's a 2-run home run, and the Indians are off to the quick lead against Tony Saunders.
Manny Ramirez, who during the regular season had 14 home runs here at the Jake, delivers the big blast early, his 4th postseason home run. And David Justice up, bases empty and 1 down. So the Indians, with over 200 homers as a team again this season for the 3rd consecutive year, use it here in the first inning. The changeup misses up high, 1 ball, 1 strike on David Justice.
I mentioned about Livan Hernandez and Tony Saunders. If Jared Wright should win tonight, it'd be only the 2nd time in World Series history that 2 rookies have won a game in the World Series.
This is an unusual World Series in a lot of ways already. And you've got 2 teams who did not have more than 92 wins. Florida had 92. Cleveland had 86. That didn't happen in a World Series before either. You got the first wild card team ever to play in the World Series, the Florida Marlins. And the Cleveland Indians, 2nd time, 3 years they've been in the World Series. But haven't won one since '48, and that changeup is tough. Tony Saunders gets his 2nd strikeout as David Justice goes down swinging, 2 away in the first inning.
We talked about the changeup being his best pitch. And 78 miles an hour, so that has David Justice waving and cooling down the fans here even more with the cool breeze of the swing of the bat. See the release point? You can see all of his fingers on the ball. That will slow it down no matter how hard he tries to throw it. You fool the hitter with arm movement on a changeup.
And a hard shot to first, base hit by Dalton by Matt Williams. Picked up by Gary Sheffield, who gets it back in. Williams taking the ball the other way, and that's a single for Williams.
So Matt Williams, I think some of these Indian hitters have made the adjustment. They're going to hit the ball the other way until Saunders decides to come in with a fastball or come in on the inner half. Dalton should put some leather on that ball. Maybe it was hit too hard, and he couldn't react quickly enough. It went underneath his glove on into the outfield. Here's the pitch, up and away, and Matt Williams was right on it.
So with 2 down, that is the 3rd hit of the inning off the youngster Tony Saunders, the left-hander. Now Alomar will wait as the throw goes to first to get Williams back to the bag. Matt Williams did have 12 stolen bases during the regular season, caught only 4 times. You don't think of him as a base stealer. Those are pretty good numbers.
That was a career high.
Again, a throw over, almost caught Dalton going the wrong way. Saunders threw that ball on the wrong side of Darren Dalton. Had to reach back around him. The base runner here taking a lead can get as far off as Dalton is off the bag. He can go right behind Dalton because you're not going to be taken out with Dalton in that position. Off-speed pitch for a strike to Alomar.
Now you see first baseman hug the bag sometimes when they're holding the runner on. Dalton does not do that. And it gives him a little more range to his right.
Stays off against him. The 0-1 pitch misses inside. And a 1-ball, 1-strike count.
So Dalton has to be just as alive as a runner for a throw coming over to first base. He can't be picked off as well.
Alomar's 5 for 12 here in the World Series. Looking to add to the 2-0 lead they've got here. Check swing, and that misses down low. 2 balls and 1 strike. Like Tommy Glavine, Tony Saunders wants you to chase bad pitches out of the strike zone. You have to be very patient against him if you're going to be successful. And yes, those are snow flurries falling around his head. 2-1 pitch, reach for, that's going to be a gapper. Base hit into left center field. All the way to the wall. Cut off of the warning track. Williams being waved home. Relay throw, Renteria. Johnson's there. The tag, not in time. Heads up base running by Matt Williams as he was waved home. It was cut off is right at the warning track. That resulted in 13th postseason RBI for Alomar and the 4th in the World Series as he continues to vie for MVP if Cleveland should win this thing. He's on at second base, 2 down, and a strike called to Jim Thome.
Great slide by Matt Williams to avoid the tag in the long reach of Charles Johnson.
So the Indians rocking the Jake early here in the first inning. 3 runs on 4 hits. Check swing. Again, they're going to check. Did he go? Yes. Ed Montague being asked on Jim Thome. Thome usually, during the regular season, did not play many games against left-handers. But here in the World Series, they're going to leave him in there because you've got to have that bat. He had only 131 at-bats against left-handers. Hit .275. 3 times that many at-bats against right-handers, against whom he hit .290. 0-2 delivery to Thome is outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, they've erupted. They've given their fans something to cheer about here against the rookie left-hander. Alomar on at second base with 2 down. 1-2 ripped foul. Yeah, we've talked about Thome a bit about that swing. He has really compacted that swing here, even more so in this World Series.
You know, his swing did look a little long in the early going of the series, but he and Charlie Manuel, the hitting coach, have worked on it. He's very quick with the bat to begin with, but I think sometimes late in the season, hitters get a little tired. Their swings get a little longer as they try and generate power. So you have to rely on the quickness of your hands to get the bat through the zone as opposed to too much body movement.
Way outside. Good stop made that time by Johnson, and it evens the count up. 2 balls, 2 strikes. You look through Dave Nelson down to second base. Sandy Alomar with an RBI double, 2 RBIs for Ramirez, and they have forced Tony Saunders to throw 24 pitches here in the first inning. Batting instructors never stop watching. The teaching goes on. That just missed. 3-2.
Well, Charlie Manuel, who played for the Minnesota Twins in the late 60s, early 70s, then moved on to the Dodgers and then over to Japan, where he was very successful. Became an MVP, first American to win that award in Japanese baseball.
3-2 check swing. Saunders over to first base to Dalton, and that will retire the side. But the Cleveland Indians, trying to even up the series, come up with 3 runs on 4 hits in the first inning. Ramirez with the opposite field blast, his 4th postseason home run. And we'll be giving you that a little later on.
Here's another look at Matt Williams scoring the 3rd run in the bottom of the first inning. You can see right there that even though Charles Johnson has a long reach, he cannot get Matt Williams.
We don't see a lot of players who know how to hook slide anymore in Major League Baseball. That's what Matt Williams did right there. Hooked the plate with one leg. He comes in straight, he's probably out. He would not have avoided the tag. So a 3-0 lead as we go to the second inning. Jared Wright working here against Darren Dalton. Dalton 3 for 7 so far here in the World Series. For Jared Wright, left-handers hit 280 off him. He has trouble with lefties. 280 for left-handers, 195 right-handers against him. Fouled off the other way, 1-2.
You know, one of the problems, he doesn't really throw a changeup all that often. And that's the pitch that really can be effective against the left-handed hitters. Remember, this guy's only 21 years old. The Indians wanted him to be in the minor leagues all season long. Well, because of injuries, they had to call him up to the big leagues.
Chopper to second base, Tony Fernandez. And Dalton's retired, 1 down.
Earlier this year, Chad O.J. went on the disabled list. Jack McDowell's been out for practically the whole season, so they had to call up young Mr. Wright. He started out in Double-A at Akron, went on to Buffalo, then on to the big leagues. 3 years ago, he was pitching in high school in Anaheim, California.
Some amazing stories here at World Series time. Obviously, they become major stories because it is the World Series. Moises Alou up there, 3 for 12 in the World Series. And Alou rocks one to third, short hop, Gold Glover. That's how you do it. 2 down.
Well, Matt Williams, when he was picked by the Giants, watch him and his footwork. He was a shortstop out of University of Nevada, Las Vegas. The Giants moved him over to third base, but he still has that range and the strong arm that all shortstops have.
See, looking in the dugout, they're giving him a little what for his own teammates, kidding him about making the play. 2 down. And Ken, notice how much crisper the defensive play is because Jarrett Wright is working faster. The guys are just ready. There's just an anticipation there because they're not having to wait so long.
You don't have time to think about the weather around you. You have to be ready because the ball might be hitting your direction.
It's a credit to Wright here. Is just going to rear back and throw it.
You know, I was talking about Matt Williams being a shortstop at college. I always felt that the shortstop was probably the best athlete on the field and could play any other position, maybe with the exception of pitching and catching. But a shortstop like Vizquel or Renteria that we have in this World Series, capable of playing anywhere on the field and pretty effectively.
Strong arms, obviously have good range, or you don't play there. And a fastball. Jimmy Eisenreich, the designated hitter, takes it for a strike. 3 balls and 1 strike on Eisenreich.
So if you have a youngster out there and you think he's a pretty good athlete, you don't want him to pitch or catch, make him a shortstop, because then he can always adjust later on.
Gee, wonder where that came from. That one missed outside, and ball 4. The second walk given up by Wright comes to 2 down here in the second inning. You wouldn't have a youngster fitting that situation, would you?
Yeah, I do.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. Currently in college, playing shortstop.
So the words of a father right there, well, as well as a former major leaguer. Runner on at first base, 2 down, and Charles Johnson, the catcher, coming up. Played deep in the outfield on him. Inside, turns away, ball 1.
Speaking of fathers molding youngsters, how about Charles Johnson's father molding him into a catcher? Now, a lot of people say the fastest way to the major leagues, once you've signed a contract, is being a pitcher or a catcher.
shortage in both departments. 1-0 pitch. That's taken outside. Lost by Alomar and down to second base goes Jim Eisenreich. Alomar could not find that. May have been crossed up. Let's see.
Maybe a snowflake got in his eye or something. Let's watch the pitch. If it's in the dirt, it's a wild pitch. Yep, there it is. In the dirt, off the glove. He can't find it. And Eisenreich will go to second base.
So that puts Eisenreich in scoring position now with a 2-0 count on Charles Johnson. These two teams, of course, last night piling up the runs. 43 runs had been scored coming into this game. In the first 3 games of the World Series, that is a new record for the first 3 games of the World Series. See whether we're on our way to add more to that tonight. Fastball just challenged him with that one right down the middle, 2-1.
And Gary, when you think about it, it shouldn't surprise us that both these teams are starting to score, because both of them during the championship series hit under 200. And these are teams that you only get to the World Series if you can hit.
Yep. 2-1 count. And both of these teams are struggling with their starting rotations. That's why you've got rookies starting in this game. 2:59 with runners in scoring position.
That's fair. If you get a team closer to 300 with runners in scoring position, as Eisenreich is now, that's either runners at second or third.
2-2 delivery on the way. Strike 3 called. Big heater. 97 miles an hour in that fastball for his second strikeout. No runs, no hits, 1 left on. Jarrett Wright, the rookie, hit this.
With the veteran of like Ron Hershiser could really help him out during the course of this game.
Julie Croteau, you got the ice machine out down there?
Yeah, I tell you, last night it was cold, but tonight it's cold and wet. I don't know if you can see the warning track here, but there's a glaze over it. There's a little bit of ice on it. It's very, very slippery. The outfielders were actually sliding on it before the game. Also worth noting, the infield is wet. The Marlins feel that may be an advantage for them in the sense that it rains every day in Florida. Back to you guys in the warm booth.
You're right. We did chicken out tonight, Julie. We do have the windows closed. I have to tell you that. Well, ice in the warning track and snow in the infield. Although it has stopped snowing pretty much now. A few flurries coming down, but not like it was here for about 3 hours.
Yeah, it rains in Miami, but it doesn't snow.
It doesn't snow.
It did about 20 years ago.
20 years ago?
Yeah.
That'd be an unusual storm. Tony Fernandez up against the left-hander. Takes the pitch inside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Fernandez 3 for 6 in the World Series. 323 in postseason. He's had a great postseason, yet has not been able to start all the games. Doing so here now with the designated hitter rule in effect. Tony Saunders had an interesting comment yesterday talking about the weather. He said, I grew up in Maryland, so I feel like I'm at home right now. I love this. I was outside yesterday running around like a little kid. I've been stuck down in Miami all year. I hate the heat. Well, I'm not so sure he likes the cold at the moment. It's a 3-0 lead for the Indians.
Yeah, I think if he went back home to Baltimore right now, it wouldn't be quite this cold.
No. We started here 35 degrees. It'll go down. It'll be colder. Fernandez reaches, pops it up, third base. Bonilla. And Fernandez retired, one away here in the second.
Center fielder, number 17,
Bonilla had some problems early in the game yesterday, and holding the glove up. He just holds the glove still, the ball goes right in it. That's nice setting your glove right there.
And use 2 hands. You want to copy that, kids. None of that one-hand stuff now. Marquise Grissom, the best World Series hitter in the history of baseball, average-wise. He continued it last night. 7 for 10 now in the World Series, and takes that one to deep left center field. White looking back at the warning track, doesn't slip and hauls it in. Ooh, he put that one out to the deep part of the yard here at the Jake.
And of course, he with the 15-game hitting streak, just 2 off the record of Hank Bauer, who played for the New York Yankees back in the 50s. The Yankees played the Dodgers in the 56 series, and then they played the Milwaukee Braves in 57 and 58, and Hank Bauer had a hit in 17 consecutive games.
Tough player.
former Marine.
Yeah, and played that way on the baseball field. Marquise Grissom, the second out on that long fly ball. Now with 2 down, nobody on, leadoff batter Bip Roberts, a strikeout victim, his first time up. 4 for 13 in the series. That's going to be trouble down the line. It'll take one hop off that wall. Allou's up with it. Roberts going for 2. Throw will not be in time. A stand-up double for Bip Roberts.
That seems that Bip is enjoying his first ever postseason. And I think Tony Saunders is very, very lucky here because the ball that Grissom hit fought the wind all the way to the wall, and Devon White was able to catch it. This one was much more of a line drive off the wall, played by Allou, who has a strong arm, but not strong enough to keep Bip Roberts from getting a 2-base hit. Watch Bip turn it on for 2.
Now an RBI chance for Vizquel, who takes the first pitch for a strike. Omar has 1 RBI so far in the World Series. He singled and scored in the first inning. 1 for 1 tonight. Runner at second base, 2 down. Vizquel check swing. Kenny, an opportunity here while Vizquel is up. We had an interesting question posed by Juan Yanir from Colombia. Wanted to know, is there a limit on a team as to how many foreign players there can be in the lineup?
Not at all. Maybe there should be a limit on the number of players from California.
There are no limits. Some of the sports around the country, around the world, have limits on foreign players, how many can be on a roster and participate, but not in baseball, not Major League Baseball.
Not at all. The reason why I said California, because most Major League ball players come from that state. The warm weather states in the United States, California, Florida, Texas, have a tendency to produce baseball players because those youngsters can play all season long.
2-1. He got jammed hard on that one. Counsell up with it over to first base. Vizquel is retired, and so are the Indians here in the second inning. No runs. The double picked up by Roberts. He'll be stranded at second base. This is called a jam shot. And he wasn't happy about his swing. Game 4. Craig Counsell getting the opportunity to play regularly at second base. He himself 27 years old, but a rookie. 2 rookie pitchers who are working. Counsell just battled away in the minors to keep his career alive, and it's worked for him, and here he be, and he takes a strike. Had a chance to ask him about what it's like. 27 years old, never thought you'd make it. Here you are.
I think it's hard to savor it while it's actually happening. I think that soaks in more a little bit later when you're able to reflect on it, because you're so focused on, you know, trying to win, you know. But I mean, I have no doubt that these are going to be great memories for me, and I am enjoying this about you know, as much as I could. And I also feel tremendously fortunate to make it here the first year, you know, in the big leagues. I mean, Bobby Bonilla, you know, he's been 12 years, and Jim Leland, who's, you know, he's been managing for, you know, not forever, but, you know, for a while, yeah. So you know, I feel, and in that sense, I feel real fortunate.
Craig Counsell, the comments of the 27-year-old out of Notre Dame.
Went to accounting school. Made good account of himself in his rookie year.
And he's going to need his accounting skills here the way he's playing. He draws the walk. So Counsell is on a leadoff walk here in the third inning, and that is the third walk given up by Wright so far in this ball game, and that's a little high. That'll get you in trouble.
One of the things that's interesting about Jared Wright, his second love is surfing. Now, there's a big lake out there, Lake Erie, but there'll be no surfing tonight.
There's a song with no surfing tonight. No, he won't be surfing tonight. You might want to get out the ski poles and sluicing a little bit. And White is up. Runner on at first base. 1 hit so far for Florida. Rich Donnelly giving the signs from third. Devon White looking. He struck out his first time up. Hit and run could be on here, although White has not been hitting the ball that well.
That's one way to get a hitter going, though, because he's forced to make contact.
1-1.
Managers sometimes with a struggling hitter will start a runner because the hitter really has to concentrate on hitting the ball. Plus the infielders move around, and sometimes you catch a break, hole opens, ball goes through, hitter's happy, starts a hitting streak.
And the slump, right?
Yeah.
1-1 count. Jared Wright, that set position away from the body. Pitch is taken outside, and a 2-ball 1-strike count. Jared Wright, you'll notice when he comes to the set position, as you look at White and Donnelly going through the signs, a lot of pitchers, it used to be, always came to the belt and held the glove against their body. More and more we see pitchers holding that glove away from the body, as he does here, rather than bringing it in, fouled off. It makes it a little tougher as far as avoiding the balk is concerned. You've got to come to a complete stop. And it's a little harder to do when you get the glove and arm away from the body.
But I also think it makes you quicker to first base, because if you come set against your body, you have to bring your arms away to throw to first. Your arms are already away from your body. You can just turn and throw.
And that's why they do it. A 2-ball, 2-strike count on Devon White. Counsell at first not going. White lets it go. And the count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Now we'll probably see the runner take off here. Want to avoid the double play if possible.
There's the hands away from the body and the complete stop.
The runner goes. White fouls it off, catching a piece of Alomar on the way by.
Well, Sandy Alomar Jr., I saw his dad before the ball game. Sandy Alomar Sr., former major league infielder. I should have asked him, why'd you let your son catch? Maybe because he's 6'3", 220 pounds.
And is good at it.
Yeah, he's good at it. Sandy Alomar, not nearly 6'3".
Runner goes, broken bat, foul ball. The barrel ends up out there by the mound. Oh, interesting here. We've got a couple in this battery, as Jared Wright's dad, Clyde, was a pitcher in the major league level for some 10 seasons with 3 different ball clubs. And his battery mate behind the plate, Alomar, whose dad was a great Major League Baseball player. So they are children coming out of baseball families.
And also Clyde Wright, Jared's dad, pitched in Tokyo for the Tokyo Giants. And both, I don't know if their dads were teammates with the Angels, but both of them played for the California Angels at that time. But Clyde was with the Los Angeles Angels.
Yeah. They've been the Los Angeles, the Anaheim,
and
California Angels. The runner goes again, 3-2. That one's looped out of play, as White, as he did in his first at bat, battles off some pitches by Wright, and it remains a full count, 3-2. Mike Hargrove giving the signs to Alomar as to whether he wants a throw over to first base. The coffee concessions have done extremely well here in these 2 games in Cleveland.
Jimmy Leyland continues to be aggressive, sending runners, trying to stay out of the double play.
8 pitches so far in this at bat for White. First time up, he made Wright throw 7 pitches, so he's really worked him. And Counsell at first being held by Tomey.
That's a single throw over the first base.
3-2. Runner goes again. Struck him out. Chance for a double play. They won't get it. Big jump by Counsell. He'll be credited with a stolen base, and White, as a strikeout victim, is 3rd.
A good job by Jared Wright striking out Devon White. A lot of pitches involved. Upstairs with 1. The call strike evens things up. Tried to go away again. Missed. Foul ball, 2-2. 3-2. Off of the catcher. Shattered bat. Another foul ball. It struck him out on a pitch out of the strike zone.
So White has struck out twice now, and he's a contact hitter. Runner at second base. Renteria, breaking ball. Big curve right there from Wright for a strike. That fool Renteria. He hasn't shown that curve ball. That had some pretty good yak on it. 3-0 lead for the Indians. Here in the top of the 3rd inning, only 1 away. A chance for the Marlins to get one on the board with a base hit here. Renteria had to step out on that one and shoots it over into his own dugout. That's a 2-strike count. That'll scatter the troops at the far end. Counsell on at second base. First stolen base either team has had in the series. Fans at the Jake always applaud for a strikeout, and they're up. Boy, Renteria is really pulling off the ball, isn't he?
You know, sometimes you do that when you're trying to be extra quick. Watch his left foot. That's the key right here. Watch it move in the other direction. The target is away. His foot's going the other way. It's tough to make solid contact. I think while he's doing that, the previous pitches had been in on him, and he's trying to fight him off. Hit the ball the other way.
He had a base hit the other way his first time up. 2-strike count. Jared Wright's pitch again. He steps away, fouls it off the end of the bat. It remains at 2 strikes. Renteria even looks cold. He said he got used to playing in cold weather because of the time he spent in Portland, Maine, where it was cool, and that it really didn't bother him.
Yeah, the problem was it was July or August.
Easy now. It's my home state now. You need that tourist traffic. Don't be saying things like that. 0-2 the count, 1 down. Set up outside. Pitch missed down low. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Blowing of the hand like that while you're on the mound generally is not allowed in Major League Baseball. But on cold nights like this, pitchers are given permission to do so, to warm their hands up. 1-2 count. Counsell off second. And a slow ground ball to short. Vizquel, the running throw, gets Renteria. And there are 2 down. Runner, Counsell, moves over to third base. Well, we were telling you about the website. If you'd like to keep up to date with the latest World Series news and updates and all kinds of other baseball information, all you've got to do is log on. MLB at Bat, Major League Baseball's website. Tap in at www.majorleaguebaseball.com. We'd love to know how you're enjoying the game. And for those of you who voted or just like to know on our international all-star team, we're going to be giving that to you later on. So hang in for that one.
Gary,
Counsell's on at third.
Gary, you mentioned the pitchers blowing into their hands. And, of course, it's not allowed unless it's a cold night like tonight or last night. Probably they'll be doing the same thing tomorrow night. But it was allowed in the early days of baseball. You could do just about what you wanted out on the mound. And there was a rookie pitcher that John McGraw started against the Boston Red Sox in 1912, Jeff Tassero. And he started because he was a spitball pitcher. And of course, you could go to your fingers, load the ball up in those days, and throw the pitch to the plate, and it would dive and sink. And he was a rookie, and he won the opening game of the series in 1912. That's why McGraw started.
And spitballs were legal.
Yeah, they were. But they're dangerous to control, and that's why they outlawed them, because they fly all over the place and they could injure hitters.
1-1 delivery here. Sheffield takes it down low. 5 RBIs for Gary Sheffield in the ball game last night. A chance for an RBI here. Wright will work very carefully with 2 down. Score 3-0 Indians and a runner on at third base. I would not think he would give in here to Sheffield and challenge him with the ball he could hit.
Now, Sheffield, as we mentioned, all through the NLCS and the World Series, they're not challenging him.
Good curveball right there. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
As tough as Jared Wright is, I think he might listen to his coaches.
Fans again up. 2-2 delivery. And the count goes full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. That's a good pitch, though. 2-2.
Here's a young man in one of his early starts in the major leagues. Mike Hargrove gained a lot of respect for him because he hit Jose Canseco with a pitch, and Canseco stared at the rookie, and he stared right back at him.
And strike 3 called. He came back on the inside corner. Sheffield did not like the call, but that's the way it's going to go. So Wright has walked 3 so far in this game, but they have not scored, and he has 4 strikeouts. That's number 4. He's taking a beating back there so far.
Well, a lot of foul balls off the mask. Pitcher's throwing hard.
It hurts when it's cold.
Yeah, it does.
Even more. And Ramirez up, takes the first pitch for a strike. First base umpire Randy Marsh coming in to talk to the home plate umpire Greg Kosk. No pitch. A timeout apparently had been taken somewhere out there. So no pitch. That will happen if One umpire's called a timeout for some reason, and nobody else knows it, and the pitch is delivered. If timeout was called, then it was called. We'll start this again, and Ramirez takes the strike. Manny Ramirez delivered the home run, a 2-run shot in the first inning. Just his 3rd hit of the World Series, as he's now 3 for 14. Came off the left-hander, and that one, Saunders bounces that one in the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Saunders for a while was on the DL this year. He had a torn knee ligament in his right knee. He was out from mid-May to mid-July. That's why kind of disappeared from view for a while. Despite, even though he's a rookie, sometimes rookies don't get that notoriety, except for the fact that he beat the Atlanta Braves 3 times.
That got him a lot of notoriety. He's now a working fine. Manny Ramirez, .350 hitter off left-handers. He had 6 home runs off left-handers during the season, and fouls that one off, and the count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes. If you missed it, first inning.
Manny Ramirez with a man on, low fastball out over the plate, up into the wind, and into the seats.
The dinger, good for 2 RBIs for Ramirez. 2 balls, 2 strikes on this at-bat, and the breaking ball's down low, and the count goes to 3-2. Tony Saunders gave up 12 home runs during the regular season, and 10 of those were hit by right-handers. Left-handers just really struggle against him. 176 average and only 2 home runs off him by left-handers. Fastball misses inside. That is the first walk given up by Saunders, and it is one of those dangerous leadoff walks in an inning.
And it comes right in front of the heart of the order, with Ramirez being the start of it. And he's got Justice, Williams, and Alomar, and then Tomei.
One of baseball's great statistics, covering the entire century researched. If you get a leadoff walk in an inning, the chances of scoring in that inning are 77%. Dave Justice, he squares to bunt and fouls that one off. He struck out his first time up. I don't think he's been asked to do that or thought about doing it very often.
That might have been on his own. Bobby Bonilla is back at third, still not convinced that Justice is going to bunt. See Bobby back here. If he's thinking he's going to bunt, he'd be in on the grass.
Comes in on the grass and gets one line down his throat. And again, the throw over will get him back. Justice did not have a sacrifice during the regular season. You really wouldn't expect him to. He's not getting paid for that. And a 1-strike count. Ooh, chin music there. Saunders came high and tight.
Well, a visit from the horse side for David Justice. No hitter really likes. They don't mind being brushed back, but not up around the head.
And then he goes back to the outside corner and gets a strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, the setup pitch worked. You bust him inside, then go away, and he did that time and gets ahead on the count. Saunders not afraid to come inside with pitches either. Nobody out here. Ramirez on at first base. Throw over, gets away. Ramirez heads down, and he'll stay there. The error will be on Tony Saunders.
You know, I talked about Dalton being picked off as well as the runner, and I don't think Dalton reacted very well on that ball thrown over the first base. Now he has to get back to the bag where the throw is, and you can see if he's on the bag, he can make that play. The throw is off towards the dugout side, and he can't reach that far. Ball gets by him. They might want to rethink how you set up over there.
Dalton, of course, used at first base, but has not played a lot there. And the pitch is outside. That one knocked down by Charles Johnson. So now a runner at second with nobody out, and a 2-2 count on David Justice. I think, Ken, that's a real problem for any first baseman, particularly a guy who doesn't play there every day, to be holding a runner off the bag. It requires a lot of movement over there to try and get back to take a throw. It's not like you're standing in one place. And a ground ball to short will hold the runner. Renteria up, slips, throws high, and that's going to go in the dugout. And there'll be an extra base awarded and a run will score. Ramirez will come around to score. It is a 4-0 Indians lead, and down to second base goes Justice as the weather again affecting play here.
Yeah, Julie mentioned earlier that slippery on the warning track. The infield may be slippery as well. And Renteria, when he tries to set his back foot to plant and throw, yep, right out from underneath him, and the throw is high. That's from all the snow earlier before the game started. They did not cover the infield, and things got a little slippery out there as Renteria found out. That forced his throw up high over Dalton, and the Indians now have a 4-run lead.
And Jim Leland is coming out. The other thing that makes it so he's going to stay with him a little longer than he might otherwise if he had somebody. And the breaking ball is down low. Williams had a single and scored his first time up. A run in here in the third, nobody out. It was a single for Justice and an error, moving him down to second base. So 6 hits in the game for the Indians. Manny Ramirez drew that walk to start the inning off, and sure enough, he scored. And the pitch is taken up high, 2-0.
Felipe Alou, the manager of the Montreal Expos, told me a story about Matt Williams and how he gained a lot of respect for Matt Williams. One of the Expos' hard young throwers knocked Matt Williams down one afternoon at Olympic Stadium in Montreal. And Matt got up, didn't say anything, just pointed to the plate with his bat and told the rookie, loud enough for both dugouts to hear, throw the ball over the plate. The next pitch was over the plate, and Matt Williams hit it over the bleachers in left field. And Felipe said he reminded the rest of his pitching staff, don't come near him anymore.
That's the way you exact revenge.
Yep.
And managers like Jimmy Leland, Felipe Alou, that's how you gain their respect, as Tony Saunders did when he went after Canseco. Strike on the outside corner, a 3-ball 1-strike count.
There was none of the charging of the mound, trying to extract vindication that way. Starting a fight, you just said calmly, throw the ball over the plate.
And those who have done that since have paid dearly. 264 career hitter Matt Williams, 31-year-old, Gold Glover at third base. And the pitch is up high, and Tony Saunders is struggling. The young man has now given up a couple of walks, both in this inning. 2 errors have been charged here in the inning, one of which was his on a throw to first base. And a 4-0 lead on the board for Cleveland. There'll be a discussion here as Alomar is coming up.
I think Jimmy Leland's well aware he has a rookie pitcher in the game. I don't think the 3 runs in the first inning were, that something is out of his control. The guy's nervous coming into a game. Young pitchers sometimes struggle in these situations. 2 errors made behind him leading to 1 run. He walks the next guy. Maybe told him to be careful with Matt Williams. But you got Sandy Alomar coming up, who's as hot as anybody in the World Series.
There are your 2 base runners with nobody out. Justice at second, Williams at first. Alomar a double and an RBI in his first at bat. And the pitch is up high. You saw Antonio Alfonseca warming up in the bullpen. Jimmy Leland told us, Ken, before the game, he does not want to bring him in unless he absolutely has to.
He feels that he's more of a short type of pitcher out of the bullpen, maybe capable of going 1-2 innings at the most. John Adams beating the drum out there in left field.
And happy about it tonight so far. Foul back, and a 1-ball 1-strike count on Alomar. The double in the RBI already in this ball game. With the snow, the fans arriving here a little late, but they've packed them in again. There were some seats open when the ball game started. I don't think there are many open now, and they've got something to cheer about and are one of the loudest houses in baseball here at the Jake in Cleveland. 1-ball 1-strike up high, 2-1.
And this game is taking on the same look as the game last night. The Indians had a 4-run lead. Remember that.
Right now it's a 4-0 lead. We've got 2 on. Nobody out. Leland wants Saunders in the worst way to find a way to get through this. Misses inside. He didn't go around on it. 3 balls and 1 strike. That 4-run deficit the Marlins overcame last night has happened 12 times before in a World Series game, but only the 3rd time that a road team has done it and won a game. You just don't overcome big deficits generally in World Series play because you're facing such great pitching. 3-1 delivery. Reach for it. Base hit into right field. Justice will make the turn. Sheffield up with it. Throw coming to the plate. Dalton cuts it off. And a 5-0 lead, and Alomar's got 2 hits and 2 RBIs.
Careful with Williams, but pays the price to Alomar. Here's the pitch, hit into right field. But he is some kind of hot, hitting the ball all over the field, picking up the important hits, driving in a run here. Williams leading at first, avoids the baseball as it goes into right field. Ball slows up on the grass, so Sheffield has less of an opportunity to throw back Williams out at the plate.
And the celebration for the Indians. Still nobody out here. And the pitch is down low and blocked by Johnson as Jim Thome's up. Jimmy Leland stuck. This is his worst nightmare. A starter, a rookie, who runs into trouble early in the game. If he has to go to the bullpen, he has to bring in Fonseca, who is another youngster who hasn't pitched at the major league level very much. In fact, Jimmy Leland said tonight before the game, Fonseca is just another arm. We just brought him up to have another arm available. Tony Saunders struggling mightily here in this start. Leland's got to make that tough managerial decision that he's talked about. How long do I wait?
I think one of the keys in this game, because both teams used their bullpen quite a bit last night, is how far these rookie pitchers can go into the game.
Yep. 1-0 delivery on the way, and the outside corner is strike. Runners on at first and second here. Nobody out. We've had 2 walks, 2 errors, and a single. Now Jim Thome up with 2 on, and a 5-0 lead for the Indians. Williams at second, Alomar at first. A 1-1. Pass ball misses up high.
Tony Saunders earned his way to the major leagues by going 34-16 in the minors, including last year when he pitched at Double-A Portland for the Sea Dogs and went 13-4.
65th pitch coming up for him here. Foul back. He has thrown 32 out of the strike zone in this game and 33 strikes.
What did Jimmy Leland tell us before the game? That Saunders earned his medal of making a ball club in spring training. Impressed Larry Rothschild and Leland with a start in which he gave up 3 runs in the first inning and never complained.
And kept on throwing. 2-2 count. And that's bounced way out in front of home plate that time, and the count goes full now, 3-2.
You know, I think one of the difficulties for Saunders tonight is the fact that a changeup is a touch and feel type of pitch. You really have to have a good feel for it when you throw it. When the weather's cold, certainly affects the pitchers. We saw that last night. Jared Wright won't be affected as much because he's a power pitcher. All he's doing is throwing the ball as hard as he can to get people out.
3-2, 2 on, nobody out. Runners not going, and it's ball 4. And it is getting real tough for Jim Leland. How long can you wait? Here in game 4. Bases loaded, nobody out, 3rd inning. And only he can make that decision. Tony Fernandez coming up. There he comes. Fonseca from the Dominican Republic. La Romana pitched in only 17 games during the regular season, 1-3 in relief. Only 2 innings here in the postseason. The bases are loaded. 2 runs are already in. Nobody out. Tony Fernandez, switch hitter. First ball hitting, fouls it back. He popped out his first time up.
Well, Dominican matchup right here. Fonseca from La Romana and Tony Fernandez from San Pedro de Macorís,
where shortstops are made.
Yeah, and few are better than Tony, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Hernandez takes that pitch away. Big opportunity here for the Cleveland Indians to blow the doors off this game early. We've got 5 runs on 7 hits and a 5-0 lead. And the bases loaded, nobody out. And Fernandez lofts that one center field. That's going to be a base hit. Williams scores. 1 will score. It is a 6-0 lead. Fernandez with the RBI.
Yeah, Tony standing at first base. This will be a broken bat single. Certainly his hands might not feel that good, but at least he knows his bat died a hero as it drives in a run. And he wants everybody to move around the base. He's only going to pick up 1 RBI. They were thinking maybe that ball would be caught. I don't think Devon White had a chance. That ball wouldn't hit hard enough.
So the bases remain loaded. There's still nobody out. And here's Marquise Grissom, who flied deep and hard to center field his first time up. First ball foul back. Marquise Grissom during the regular season went 5 for 15 with the bases loaded, including 1 grand slam. Coming into this game with a .452 World Series average in his career, #1 all time. What a situation for Alfonseca to be in. First World Series he gets to play in. He faces the game World Series greatest hitter average-wise with the bases loaded. There's nothing Jimmy Leyland can do right here. Alfonseca is going to have to get it done or take one for the team. Way outside with it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Grissom trying to extend his streak to 16 consecutive World Series games in which he has hit safely. Jared Wright watching and inside smiling. 1-2. He thought about it. Slider, though, is outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Alomar, Thome, Fernandez, the base runners. Strike call on the inside corner. He gets Marquise Grissom. 1 down. He didn't give in.
Well, that's a key strikeout because a double play can get him out of the inning. Although the speedy Bibb Roberts will be coming up hitting left-handed. Good movement on the fastball to the inside corner. Now Charles Johnson has to reach. He has to reach that way. He does. It's to the corner and gets the call strike.
Bibb Roberts 1 away. The infield's going to move in. They'll go for a play at the plate and the force out on a ground ball here. And a strike on the outside corner. Roberts hit into only 7 double plays during the regular season. Switch hitter batting from the left side, so it gives him that advantage on going to first with the extra step. So the feeling is that Jim Leyland, he wants to go for that out at the plate, not risk staying back trying for 2. 0-1 delivery. Roberts fouls it off outside of first. 0-2.
I mentioned that Roberts is an everyday utility player. He has started the game in this World Series at second base. Games at second base and 2 in left field.
Great to have his bat in the lineup. Bases loaded, 1 down. The 2 pitch, strike 3 called on the outside corner. And the last 2 calls have not been liked by Grissom and Roberts on called 3rd strikes. 2 down.
Alfonseca really locked in on the outside corner here. He threw a pitch in on Grissom for a strike and now away from Roberts to the exact same place to pick up call strike 3.
A chance to get out of this inning, only giving up 3 runs, which at this point would be an accomplishment by Alfonseca. The off-speed pitch to Vizquel. Roberts a strikeout victim twice in this game now. Cleveland has batted around in the inning. 9th man up, Vizquel, with the bases loaded, but now there are 2 away. 0-1 delivery. Fastball outside, 1-1. Vizquel had 10 chances with the bases loaded during the season. Came away with a couple of hits, including 1 bases loaded triple. Did not have a grand slam. He's got him full here. Alomar, Tomey, and Fernandez the base runners. 1-1 delivery. There'll be no play on this one. A ball and 2 strikes.
Well, one thing about Alfonseca, he's working very quickly too. I think the pitchers are aware of the fact that the fielders do not want to stand around. They saw that all those misplays last night, and the more quickly they can work, the more quickly everybody can get back in the dugout, including themselves.
Get warmed up. The heaters are inside, not out. 1-2 count. And Vizquel keeps the at-bat alive, fouls that off, remains a ball and 2 strikes. Omar Vizquel has not committed an error in postseason play. This is now the 34th game postseason for him without an error. It is the longest of any shortstop in postseason history. And another Gold Glove picked up today. And that one is popped up. Second base. Counsell. And he's got it. An outstanding job by Alfonseca, who comes on, leaves the bases loaded, but the Indians pick up 3 runs in the 3rd inning. Tony Fernandez, part of that rush as he picked up an RBI single. Marlins, no runs, only 1 hit so far off Jared Wright making his first start. And here at the Jake, the temperature continues to drop down, and another record's been established. The coldest temperatures at the start of a game, this one 35 degrees, 4 degrees cooler than the New York Cincinnati start in 76, and Kenny's circling the one he knows about.
Oh, that was a cold night. Snowed in Baltimore on October 9th. They had to cancel the beginning of the World Series, the first game. Played the next day, 41 degrees at the start of the game. It was a lot colder at the end.
The temperature here in Cleveland tomorrow is supposed to get up into the 50s, low 50s. There you see the thermometer working its way down. Summer is definitely over, but not the World Series and not the Indians. Bobby Bonilla. 1 ball, 1 strike count on Bonilla. Jared Wright has walked 3 and struck out 4 in the game, giving up only 1 hit. Renteria had the single in the 1st inning. Bobby Bonilla had a big chance in the 1st inning when he came up with 1 down and 2 on and hit into a double play. That was a big moment.
It certainly was, because the Marlins missed a chance to get off to the start in the 1st inning.
That one hit in the air to left field, will stay up. Line shot. Whipper on hauled in as he got in front of it. That was coming on Roberts.
Gary, the way this World Series is going, it's going to end in Florida. And just by going back to Miami, this will not be the coldest World Series on average for temperature.
Yeah, can't do that. The temperature is still at least in the 70s. That one rocked by Dalton to right field, way back at the wall, and it's off in that 375 mark. Darren Dalton will go into second base with a stand-up double. Ramirez played it well off the wall. Dalton continues to hit the ball hard, and there's the second hit, first extra base hit for Florida.
You know, first pitch to Dalton, and he rocks it. This is in the general direction of where he hit the ball last night for the home run, although he got that one up a little bit more. Still a solid shot for a 2-base hit for the veteran. Swinging the bat well. He has a real quick swing. You know, he's talking about him retiring at the end of the year. I don't know. You swing the bat like that.
He started backing up on that. He said he was going to retire after this season, and now he's in the World Series. He's kind of said, I'm going to wait until it's all over and give myself a little assessment time.
You know, maybe if the Marlins win the series, he would think about saying, well, I'll go out on top.
Or I played so well, why don't I just play another year and see if we can do it again? Breaking ball to Alou, and that one misses inside. Moises Alou has a 2-0 count on him.
Now, Alou's up there, and once again, no batting gloves tonight. And during batting practice, he was wearing batting gloves. But he said it's a matter of pride. If I'm the only one in this game who's not wearing batting gloves, and I bet you he is.
Especially tonight. Oh boy, we've seen some pitches inside. Jared Wright that time under the chin of Alou. 3-0 count now on Alou with first base open.
Yeah, but he is wearing some sort of scarf around his neck, and it was just rearranged by Wright.
Got a little tighter around his neck.
Yeah, it did.
See if he goes after it here in a 3-0. Fastball again, and that misses up high. That's the 4th walk now, given up by Jared Wright, and it puts runners on at first and second base in the 4th inning with 1 away, and Eisenreich, the DH, coming up.
Years ago in that 1948 World Series that I mentioned, the Indians did have a rookie pitcher throw a shutout, and that was Gene Bearden in Game 3. And he shut out the Boston Braves on 5 hits. And he also drove in both runs with a pair of doubles as the Indians won 2-0. But Wright won't be able to drive in any runs tonight.
No.
He can stop him from scoring.
Runners on at first and second. Jim Eisenreich up. And Eisenreich takes it up high. Jared Wright during the regular season, in the 16 starts that he made, did not walk more than 3 batters in any game. He is now up to 4 in this game, and we're just in the 4th inning. And he's struggling with the strike zone. And that's going to bring Matt Williams over as he falls behind Jim Eisenreich. 2 balls and no strikes. Want to break the rhythm, I think, here. And pitching coach Mark Wiley is going to come out and have a word with him, too.
In the game.
Wright comes in with a strike. 2-1. And as Jimmy Leland said, the reason I went after Jim Eisenreich to get him on my ball club is because I was told by a manager he once played for that this was the finest guy on earth. Jimmy Leland said, I feel the same way. And that one to third is going to be a base hit by Eisenreich. Dalton makes the turn. Roberts will get it into third base. And Florida's on the board. It's a 6-1 game. Jim Eisenreich picks up the RBI single. Stopping at second base was Alou.
And Jared Wright will not pitch a shutout tonight. Jim Eisenreich with the base hit. Teammate Darren Dalton said that no matter how many hits he gets in this World Series, speaking of Eisenreich, if he doesn't get another one, this guy can still hit. And he hit a home run last night. Goes the other way tonight with a base hit. Right past Matt Williams. And the Marlins are on the board.
And still just 1 away. Johnson struck out his first time up. Runners on at first and second. 1 down, a run in here in the 4th inning. 3 hits now on the board. 2 of them coming in this inning for the Florida Marlins. Infield will play a double play depth here, looking for that ground ball. Charles Johnson. Lou off second base. Eisenreich off first towards the hole. Vizquel, Gold Glove. They get the force. Throw to first. Not in time. Good play by Jim Thome to get over and prevent that ball from going wild, or another run would have scored. They get the second out at second base. Runners at the corners now. 2 down.
You know, if Fernandez makes an accurate throw to first base, they will get 2. Great play by Vizquel. Here's a throw to first offline. And Jim Thome has to leave the bag to take the relay. Charles Johnson does not run well, so an accurate throw would have gotten a double play.
Fernandez with that patented quick release at second base. 2 down. Runners at first and third. Big at bat for Craig Counsell, who's come through for them here in the playoffs. Batting .367 in the playoffs. .273 here in the World Series. 2 down. Jared Wright trying to work his way out of this, giving up only 1 here if he can get the out. This is away with it. 2 balls and no strikes. He's falling behind all the hitters now. 2-0. Hargrove just wants to nurse right along as he can here. If he could get 5 innings out of him, he'll be happy as all get out. 2-0. That one hit the center field. Grissom backing up, has it lined up and hauls it in. So a run in on a couple of hits, a base runner left on. The Marlins now have 6 left on base. 4 innings, which has undergone a rejuvenated downtown effort. A lot of projects, new buildings. and it's worked. Now they're hoping they can bring a World Series victory to this city. If Cleveland can win tonight, they'll tie this series up at 2-2. We will be back here in any event tomorrow. Game 5 will be right here. The Marlins, Livan Hernandez, the rookie, the veteran Oral Hershiser, tomorrow at 8. Ground ball to short. Manny Ramirez, the hitter, is now retired. 1 pitch and 1 out. Ramirez in the bottom of the 4th inning, taken out by Antonio Alfonso, and the folks are huddled and bundled here in Cleveland.
Those two aren't giving up the blanket. This guy over here is getting left out, isn't he?
Fair for yourself. 8 o'clock tomorrow night. We'll see you right back here. It's supposed to be a little warmer. Maybe won't have to wear quite as many layers of clothes tomorrow night at the ballpark. We'll see. It'll be played in any event. It's supposed to clear up. The light snow, incredibly, has continued to fall throughout this game. The snow flurries blowing around here tonight. David Justice singled. Last at bat. Went down swinging, 1 for 2. 1-0 count on him. 1 down, bases empty. Fonseca comes in with a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike on Justice.
It's Brian Giles with a new look.
We've seen some new wardrobes here so far in this series for baseball players. 1-2 count. Truly strange series. We came from Miami, Florida, the home of the Marlins, where the teams worked out in shorts and T-shirts, to Cleveland, where people wear Parkers. Foul back. A 1-2 count on Justice.
See the contraption that Justice wears on his left elbow. Now, he hyperextended that elbow during the course of the season. One of the numerous injuries that he's had. Usually you see those contraptions on the lead arm to protect against being hit by pitches. But this is just to give his elbow area some more stability.
Doesn't want to extend that elbow too far. Pull those ligaments again. 2-2 delivery to him, grounded down to first, foul ball. He certainly had some interesting comments about the Atlanta Braves, the team from which he came, saying that he still feels as though he's like brothers with the players in Atlanta. He said, I wish we had a roster of 50 players so that all those guys I played with in Atlanta were now part of the Cleveland Indians, just so they'd still be around. 2-2 fouled off. Ouch. Right off the top of the mask.
Yeah, but they also asked him about, not getting a chance to play against the Braves in the World Series. He said, well, I think people are getting tired of the Braves anyway. They're seeing him in the World Series. He and Marquise Grissom, part of the big trade early in spring training. Kenny Lofton, Alan Embry going over to Atlanta. And I believe that Cleveland got the best of this deal.
Yes. 2-2. Off his foot, foul ball.
Now, I know part of the reason why the Braves made the trade is so they'd be able to sign Tom Glavine and Greg Maddux, and they got that part of it done. But as far as the output of the players and long-term stability, both Justice and Grissom were signed to long-term contracts and extensions by the Indians, while Kenny Lofton's going to leave Atlanta probably as a free agent.
Yep. And they're going to let him go. Here's the 2-2 delivery, and foul back again. Lofton will be replaced probably by Andrew Jones in center field, one of the young players. And then the deal will look even worse when all you have left is Embry, who's worked out of the bullpen for them primarily. Hot water bottles again here. Bobby Cox more than once has said that man Marquise Grissom he really missed this past year. Justice, tough at bat for David Justice. 2 balls, 2 strikes on him with 1 down, nobody on.
Yeah, during the course of the American League Championship Series, when Grissom hit the home run that beat the Orioles in Game 2 and really turned things around, they asked Bobby Cox about it. He said, Bobby said, I always root for Marquise. He's one of those good guys in baseball.
Justice has now fought off 11 pitches. Lost his bat on that one. 11 pitches here in this at bat. Justice against Alfonseca.
Yeah, goes right to Grissom. Good thing it wasn't the bat. Watch it come out of Justice's hand. Couldn't hold on. I think Grissom would have been get out of the way of the bat.
Fonseca trying to find a way to get Justice out of here. Hasn't done it yet. 12 pitches thrown here in this at bat, and a 2-ball 2-strike count on David Justice. The interesting aspect of this inning now will be not only what Justice does, but what does everybody else do behind him. Fonseca's already had to throw an inning's worth of pitches to just one hitter. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Wow.
It's that little tight slider inside that Justice is pulling foul. Fonseca threw him 2 called strikes with it early in the count. And now Justice has recognized this pitch, but he can't keep it fair.
Justice working as the designated hitter in this game. 2-2 delivery to him. Check swing. You want to check, did he hold up? Yes, he did. A busy night for Ed Montague at third, and the count's full. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, I believe you saw Fonseca shake off 3 pitches. I don't know if he has 3. What he did was he tried to confuse Justice and probably went back to the first pitch that Johnson called. Every once in a while, just to throw off the rhythm of the at-bat, try and confuse the hitter. Pitcher will stand out there and shake no, 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 and eventually they come back to where they started.
Fans are up cheering for David Justice here at the Jake. 3-2 delivery time, and Fonseca got him. 3rd strikeout, but it sure didn't come easy.
Well, let's look at this again. Fastball inside, misses. Slider for a strike. Slider for strike 2. Fouled off. Now things are going to get interesting. Ball. Fouled off. Slider. Fouled off. Fastball. Fouled up. Everything kind of up. Justice. A war and peace at bat. 15 pitches. It's getting funny now. Fouls off another one. Checks his swing 3-2 and swings at a bad pitch and strikes out. My goodness, they could have done all that 3 pitches.
And so long. We hope you've enjoyed our broadcast of Major League. Matt Williams with a 2-0 count. What an at-bat. But now, as we said, will the hitters here be able to take advantage of all the work Fonseca went at in that at-bat by Justice? That batter being Matt Williams, who's walked, singled, scored twice so far. Fonseca is going to take a little longer, and you can understand why. .279 career home runs for this Gold Glove third baseman. Takes that one inside 3-0.
Now watch out, Fonseca, as he finally gets Justice out. He's been up there way too long.
And a broken back ground ball. The barrel went down to third. The ball goes into left field underneath Bonilla's glove. And that is the 2nd hit of the game for Matt Williams. Bobby Bonilla may have been watching the barrel of that bat more than he was the ball. He didn't get much of a jump.
No, he didn't. He's playing well back. Now he moves to his right and then back to his left. Couldn't get to it.
Strange movement by Bobby Bonilla.
Right and then left and can't come up with it.
That's 9 hits in the game now for the Indians. Runner on at first. Williams 2 down, and Alomar already 2 for 2. Single, double, 2 RBIs. And that'll be a foul ball. Now, we mentioned in last night's game for Alomar, the question is, can he become the first to become the MVP in an all-star game, which he was, and the MVP in the same year of the World Series, which he's got a shot at. No one's ever done that. 0-1 delivery. Runner goes. Towering foul ball down the left field line.
Now we talked about the All-Star game. First of all, it was a warmer night. You can see he had no sleeves on. Sean Estes of the Giants gives up the homer. And Sandy Alomar Jr. became the MVP as the American League won the All-Star game.
Right here in this ballpark. That's what made it even more exciting. Pitches up high. Saw that ball go down the line. We had a question from Larry McCarthy in Perth, Western Australia. We call it the foul pole, but a ball hit it the other night was called a home run. How come?
That was the one Moises Alou hit in Florida. Well, the foul poles are actually in fair territory. And a lot of people are starting to call them fair poles. In fact, I've called them fair poles from time to time this year because if a ball hits them, it's a home run. No matter which way the ball falls, either to the right or to the left of the pole. If it hits it, it's a homer.
So call it the fair pole and you're really more accurate.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Larry McCarthy in Perth, there you go. That's a fair pole. If you'd like to call it that, you'd be right. 3 ball, 2 strike count on Alomar. Runner on at first base and 2 down. Indians with a 6-1 lead, trying to even this series at 2 apiece. Runner goes. Grounded down to third. Foul ball. And we'll come back again. El Fonseca may get out of this inning with not giving up a run, but it will not have come easy. 26 pitches thrown and that tremendous 15 pitch at bat by David Justice. Runner goes again, fouled off. I want to know now. I just heard a question asked here by my partner. Did you get an answer? What time is it in Perth?
Yeah, but they're trying to let us know. They're talking to the people in Australia right now. They want to know specifically, not Melbourne or not Sydney, but what time is it in Perth? 11 past 10 in the morning.
Perfect. Bagels and baseball.
Well, it's exactly 12 hours different than here.
3-2 count. And in Halifax, we always joke about Halifax because they have that half-hour number difference. 3-2 pitch again. Another broken bat. Base hit into right field. Matt Williams, who is running, goes to third. Sheffield gets it in. And Alomar is having himself a big-time World Series. 3 for 3 in this game. He is now 8 for 15 in the series.
Well, when your dad's in the ballpark, you want to play well. And Alomar certainly making his dad and family very happy with the base hit in the right field. As Gary said, his 3rd of the game. He's already driven in 2 runs. And he keeps this inning going against the Marlins here in the 4th.
Over because of the colors of the Marlins. Well, those jackets got nothing on our own Julie Croto. Julie.
Gary, I went downstairs to find out how the Marlins are staying warm, and I found out that well-meaning Marlins fans have been sending everything from socks with batteries in them to vests for these guys to wear underneath their uniforms. Turns out the players are doing what's tried and true. They're wearing layers. The only problem with layers, of course, is they've put on too many of them. It restricts your mobility. Gary?
I like that jacket. That baby looks good and warm. And the pitch is taken outside as Devon White leads it off here. 6-1. Indians on top. A victory for Cleveland in this game, and they will have evened up the '97 World Series at 2 games apiece. Foul back. The start by Jarrett Wright will be a successful one here if he gets through this 5th inning.
Yeah, going back to that World Series of 1979 when it's so cold, I had everything on in my locker. It took me about 2 hours to get undressed after the game.
But you didn't mind, though.
No, I was freezing.
Yeah. White takes the floater outside off speed. He has struck out twice, 2 of the 4 strikeouts Jarrett Wright has picked up in this game. He has also walked 4 and has had a wild pitch. And that one misses outside. He falls behind here. 3 balls and 1 strike.
For a lot of young pitchers, and I mean rookie pitchers, maybe 2nd year, the 5th inning is the inning of decision, and a lot of them have the fear of the 5th, I'd like to call it. If they can get through the 5th inning, they could possibly win a ball game, and a lot of them struggle in the 5th inning.
First World Series start, 2-0 in postseason. 21-year-old rookie. 3-2, and he came back and got him. 5 strikeouts, and 3 of those have been against White.
Each time it's been a swinging strikeout, and Devon White chases ball 4.
The kid, we were told, he just keeps coming at you. It's why they like him so much. He was compared by his manager to Roger Clemens. And we were talking to Hargrove before the game today.
Yeah, he did qualify that, say, a young Roger Clemens.
That's right. Yeah.
He's not the Rocket yet.
No. He's got the arm, and most importantly, he seems to have the attitude. Edgar Renteria takes the pitch, falls behind again here. 2 balls and no strikes. Renteria got that single in the first inning. 5 have been left on by Florida in this game. 4 of those in scoring position. Breaking ball is there. 2-1.
It's interesting. This will be Jarrett Wright's 1 and only start in the World Series. Because they feel he's thrown enough this year.
Not be a bad guy, though, to have in the bullpen.
Yeah.
If this series continues on back to Florida. I'd love to have a guy who can throw that great 90-mile-an-hour heater to be able to come out of the bullpen.
I would almost think it would be an emergency situation, though.
Had a reach for that one. Renteria's had a hard time all night hanging in on this right-hander. Counts 2-2.
It's quite obvious that he has a special arm. Here's the last pitch to Renteria, that all he can do is foul off.
Again, fans wanting the strikeout. Fly ball again to right field. Ramirez is over. 2 down. A moment ago, between innings, a special award made here as the announcement was made of the Roberto Clemente Man of the Year Award, and Eric Davis on hand to be recognized. The award given to the player who balances outstanding skills on the baseball field with civic responsibility. A $25,000 donation from True Value to the John Hopkins Colon Cancer Center, and another $28,000 to the Roberto Clemente Foundation.
And for fans who aren't aware of it around the world, Eric Davis battled colon cancer this year. Came back in the same season from surgery, had a baseball-sized mass in his colon, and they operated on him, and he came back and played with the Orioles down the stretch and in the championship series.
Fine award. That went off the handle by Gary Sheffield, will be handled by Tony Fernandez. And for the first time in this game, Jared Wright has retired the side in order, protecting a 6-1 Cleveland lead. Baseball International's coverage of the 1997 World Series here at the Jacobs Field in Cleveland. We've seen some great signs at games this postseason. Fans have really gotten into it. Guess you got some pretty good things to work with the Marlins in particular, and the Tribe. We'll spend a lot of time getting them ready. Grilling going on out back right there.
Cooking.
Tony Fernandez will be leading it off. Fernandez, then Grissom. And the top of the order, Biff Roberts. Alfonseca's first pitch to left field. Adu. That'll retire him. Fernandez is out of there. One away here in the 5th. I told you Marquise Grissom, of course, has been around with those great World Series numbers. He's played both sides, the American League and the National League, so an opportunity to know the difference between the 2 leagues. We asked him about it.
Coming to the American League, I learned that over here you have to be a little bit more patient. You know, in the National League, guys come right at you, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's definitely a different league, but I had to change my approach, and that's what baseball and life is all about, adjustment. So I think I learned my lesson, and I learned a lot about the American League this year, but, you know, I'll be ready next year.
Marquise Grissom ready this year. Fly ball, deep left field, way back at the wall, and it is caught. Wow, Devon White, the Gold Glover, perfectly timed that one, tracing it down to the wall about 375 feet away. And Grissom is the second out.
Second time tonight that Grissom has hit a long fly ball to left center field. Remember, his streak is on the line. And we mentioned earlier during the National League Championship Series, is there an outfielder in baseball that plays the wall as well as Devon White? Well, that wasn't one of his really highlight catches at the wall, but certainly he seems to know just where the wall is and how hard he's going to hit it.
And that's the second out. 2 down, nobody on, and Bip Roberts up. Devon White. Great graceful glide he has in the outfield. Grounded down to first base. Darren Dalton will take it there. Bip Roberts is going to be retired. So both pitchers retire the side in order here in the last half innings. It remains, however, a 6-1 Indians lead. Bobby Bonilla. First ball hitting to center field. A lot of first ball hitting now. Bonilla retired. He's 0 for 3. Jared Wright, 6th inning, 1 down, has gone the distance.
What does your husband do? Well, he's the mascot of the Cleveland Indians.
94 pitches per start for Jarrett Wright during the regular season when he had 16 starts. 3 more and he'll be there in this one. He's got this game under control. Giving up only 3 hits. 2 of those came in the 4th inning. The RBI to Jim Eisenreich, the only one they've picked up. And he's retired the last 6 batters. Darren Dalton. Snow has stopped here in Cleveland. Dalton with a double his last time up, 1 for 2. For the rookie Wright, chance to win this first World Series start. He's gone long enough. 5 innings, all you need. And the fastball taken for a strike 2 and 1. Kenny, we were listening to Marquise Grissom talk about the differences between the 2 leagues. We had a question from Detlef Welch of Merzig, Germany, wanting to know if there are any rule differences when it comes to the World Series compared to the regular season games for the American and National League.
Well, what they have done is institute the rules of each league in their home park. So here in the American League, you play the designated hitter, and in the National League, the pitchers hit. Years ago, I think they changed this in 1985, if I'm not mistaken. They went alternate years with the designated hitter. In the odd years, the designated hitter was not used. National League rules were used. And in the even years, they used a designated hitter, but the American League thought that was unfair, because they lost a player who was an integral part of their offense. So then they changed it around to have in the parks, the home parks, you play the rules of that league.
So here in the American Park, there is a designated hitter. In the National League Park, there isn't. And with 1 down, runner on, the 5th walk given up. Dalton on at first, Alou coming up. And those of you who voted, there are the results. The International All-Stars, as voted by you, our viewers, with Livan Hernandez from Florida, the pitcher, Sandy Alomar Jr., Rafael Palmeiro at first base, Roberto Alomar, Bernie Williams. And the pitchers take it inside. That's the International All-Star team that's based on your votes on our website. And we thank all of you who participated. Roberto Clemente, Juan Gonzalez, Bernie Williams in the outfield, Vinny Castilla at 3rd, rounding out that squad. That one drilled by Moises Alou to left field. It is deep and it is gone. Goodbye home run for Alou, a 2-run shot here in the 6th inning off Wright. And all of a sudden, it is a 6-3 ball game. And that will get the bullpen seriously active in a hurry.
And now they're going to bring the pitching coach, Mark Wiley, out to the mound to give the bullpen a chance to get going and warm up. He'd been trying to pitch Alou inside. Remember, the first pitch missed inside for a ball the last time he spun him around. So Alou was looking in there. And he guesses right. He did guess right from Jared Wright. Pitch was in. Watch him turn on it. Bare hands on the bat. They didn't hurt after that swing. He knows he touched that one off. Even against the wind, that's going to get out of here.
His second home run of the postseason, 2 in the World Series. And with just 4 hits now, the Marlins have generated 3 runs and cut this to a 6-3 ball game in the 6th inning. There's plenty of time left. And Jarrett Wright will stay out there while the bullpen heats up. One more base runner, and I think he'd be gone. Maybe gone anyway, as Eisenreich is up. Jim Eisenreich had an RBI single in the 4th inning, 1 for 2. 1 down. Brian Anderson getting ready. Eisenreich takes the pitch, and it's 2-0. This is very dangerous right now for Cleveland. We've only got 1 away. If Jarrett Wright is struggling as he is, can't find the strike zone, walks hitters, chance to get the potential tying run to the plate here, and it's 3 balls and no strikes.
The Marlins got the 2-run home run from Eisenreich last night that started them on their way back in the 6th inning.
Tonight they get a 2-run homer with Alou driving it out and Dalton on because of the walk. The 5th of the game with 1 down. Eisenreich with a 3-ball, 1-strike count, and that's going to be towards the gap, and that's going to fall in for a base hit. Roberts gets it back in, but the Marlins are right back in this game. Eisenreich now on all 3 times he's come to the plate, 2 singles and a walk, and 5 hits on the board for the Marlins. Question is, how long will it take Brian Anderson in the bullpen to get ready?
You know, I think that one thing that Mike Hargrove can be thankful of now, they're getting towards the bottom of the order for the Marlins. They got Johnson and then Counsell. As we watch Eisenreich with the base hit, it might move the Marlins even a little bit closer to getting this game tied.
104 pitches now have been thrown by Jarrett Wright. Hargrove pacing, waiting for the call or the sign from the bullpen that Anderson is ready to go. Leland hoping his club can have another dramatic comeback here against this youngster. And an inside-out line drive to first, caught, and a double play. And Lady Luck tonight riding with the Cleveland Indians. A soft line drive to Jim Thome. Eisenreich caught between Thome and the bag, had nowhere to go but right into the glove. A double play gets Wright and the Indians out of the inning. 6-3 Cleveland. Snowballs and then hide inside to get out of the wind. That's about what they're doing here. Over 1,200 of you participated in voting for Major League Baseball's International All-Star Team, and again, there it is.
The only former player, Roberto Clemente. You know, Levi Hernandez, I know he's been a big hit lately, and it must be the youngsters who have the computers at home and can tap in on the internet, because, you know, how about Hall of Famer Juan Marichal? I hit against him, and he was tough. I mean, you don't get the Hall of Fame by being a nobody. Dennis Martinez, only 3 wins behind Marichal on the all-time list for Latin pitchers. Louis Tion, he was no day in the park either when you hit against him.
Favoring the current crop.
Yeah, well.
Like, what have you done for me lately?
And the Canadian voters, they must be locked up in hockey this time of year, because Larry Walker is going to be probably the MVP of the National League. He deserves some votes.
Well, we've done what always happens when you select any all-star team. Controversy. Those who aren't on it.
Did I forget to mention Fergie Jenkins?
Fergie Jenkins.
My goodness. Well, he was as tough as they came. I mean, those pitchers I named that I hit against, there's an 0 for 16 right there.
If you had to vote for one, who would you vote for?
Vote for one pitcher?
For one pitcher for an international all-star team.
Wow. It's between Fergie and Juan Marichal. I mean, Louis Tion was not fun, but
well, you had the personal pleasure
of facing all of those guys.
Of dining at their table and going away hungry. Ed Vosberg has come on in relief now. Al Fonseca, great job. 3 innings, no runs, 3 hits, didn't walk anybody, and struck out 4. Tremendous job of the 24-year-old right-hander. Now the 36-year-old left-hander, Ed Vosberg. Omar Vizquel, he's going to get a base hit. That's into the gap in right center. Sheffield over, going to go for 2. Nope, backs up. Great throw. Sheffield, among the leaders in assists in the outfield, gunned that one in, and Vizquel's on. Second hit for Vizquel, 2 for 4.
Yeah, we saw the great play by Sheffield up against the wall last night, but I think that his hitting has been so good over the years that people have a tendency to forget that he started out as a shortstop. And that's another situation where I talked about where shortstops are good enough to play all over. Of course, he was shifted to the outfield, and he'll show you a reason. A shortstop's arm right here from right field, making a strong throw to second.
He was 3rd in the league in assists for outfielders during the regular season, Gary Sheffield. 6-3 lead, 11 hits now for the Indians. Leadoff man on here in the 6th. Ramirez to be followed by David Justice. Ramirez with a home run. 4th of the postseason. Whoa, hang on. Collision. Darren Dalton over there with Omar Vizquel.
Dalton had one of those catching flashbacks over at first base. Now watch him push Vizquel around.
It's a pretty good block.
It's still like he had the equipment on behind home plate. He's used to being the last line of defense.
Like an old Green Bay Packer.
Yeah.
Jerry Kramer pulling. Ramirez waiting. Takes the first fastball from Vosberg for a strike. Series led by the Marlins 2-1. Indians with a chance to even it up right back here tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. We'll have it for you around the world. 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Game 5.
Jimmy Leyland, for the second night in a row, has seen his first man out of the bullpen. Tonight it was Alfonseca. Last night Heredia do an excellent job. Alfonseca, 3 innings, no runs, 3 hits, 4 strikeouts, and no walks coming out of the bullpen. Last night Heredia 2 1/3, no runs, no hits, no strikeouts, and a walk. So the 2 youngsters out of the pen got the job done and held the Indians at bay.
Gives your team a chance to get back into the game, and that's just what's happened. 6-3. They've cut it from that 6-1 lead. And a timeout taken here. Vosberg having some trouble getting the sign, so Charles Johnson, his catcher, will go out and have a word with him. Jake with a full house here tonight. But after what happened in last night's game, there will be no final cheering or signs of final happiness here until this thing is over.
The Indians have sold out every regular season game for the last 2 years. Great support.
They did the right thing in building a ballpark. It may have been a little smaller than what it could have been. And that kept tickets at a premium. So fans knew if they wanted to come, they had to buy in advance.
And that's what most of the owners now are doing with the new ballparks that are being built. Same thing in Baltimore. They're going to do the same thing in Milwaukee and Detroit. They're talking about it in Montreal.
Build parks that are a little smaller even than what you've been used to. So the tickets become a real treasure. Dalton holding the bag at first on Vizquel. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Ramirez on a check swing held up. Close pitch, missed the inside corner. Vosberg now with a 2-2 count.
The Municipal Stadium here in Cleveland, the stadium before Jacobs Field, was monstrous. 80,000. And of course you put 40,000 people in it, which is a pretty good crowd. It's only half full.
It's built to hold all those football fans for the Cleveland Browns who used to be here.
Well, we flew into Cleveland the other day and we flew over the former site of Municipal Stadium. It's been leveled.
44,877 on hand for this game. Another sellout crowd. Had 44,880 last night. And foul back on the reach. They've had to give up some seats here out in right field. 2 whole sections had to be turned over for use by the press. Seats that normally would have been sold for fans, but there's so many people covering. Those 2 sections right there are press sections. And you see there are very few people out there because it's so cold. They've come into the press box where it's warmer.
And they're willing to stand up.
Yeah, rather than sit out there in the cold, which did not please Cleveland management last night. 2-2 the count. And the pitch is taken down low. And it's a 3-2 count on Ramirez from Vosburg. Ramirez 1 for 4 lifetime against Vosburg.
Let's see if Mike Hargrove turns on Vizquel at first base. Has him in motion. You can stay away from the double play. Here's a guy who stole 43 bases in the regular season. But you got to remember, Charles Johnson is behind home plate if Ramirez should strike out.
5th in stolen bases. Vizquel, the throw over to hold it. With a 3-2 count and nobody out. Now had 12 3-2 counts in this game. We had 22 3-2 counts in last night's game. These pitchers have really piled them up. These games have been typically American League style. Lots and lots of pitches. 3-2 delivery. Runner goes. Swung on, missed. They've got him trapped. Counsell can't get rid of the ball, and he gets back to the bag. Vizquel started. When he saw the strikeout and Charles Johnson come up to throw, he scooted back to first base, and Counsell couldn't hang on to the throw to make a play on him at first.
First of all, he's not getting a good jump. He's going to expect Ramirez to hit the ball, which he does not. Vizquel wisely decides to come back. He's almost halfway down and gets back safely when Counsell cannot get the ball out of his glove, and then on to first. Yeah, Charles Johnson knew if he kept going, I was going to have another victim.
There aren't many who reach safely, and they take off against him. Now there's one away, and David Justice back up. Justice with a single has struck out twice, and Vosburg misses down low to him.
Well, professional baseball is spreading all over the world. Remember, Lenny Randall played for a while over in Italy. Remember the former infielder with the Texas Rangers? Sure. And Vosburg pitched in Italy for a while.
Borderline major league players have found an opportunity to continue their careers, and with expansion in the majors, you stay alive playing overseas. And when expansion comes, if you've done anything at all, you come back. Runner goes. Charles Johnson's throw off the mark and into center field. No extra base, though. Vizquel, who did the head-first slide, couldn't get up in time, so it's just a stolen base for Vizquel. We've had 2 stolen bases here in this game, the first 2 stolen bases of the series.
Well, Vizquel got a great jump. Tough pitch to throw on for Charles Johnson. It was down low. The throw is to the third base side. That enables Vizquel to get in. Watch him come up. Quick release. He knows it's offline. That's a feeling that Charles Johnson only gets about half the time that they make it.
48%. Third best in the majors. Ground ball fouled off. It's hard to believe that's third best. We know Jason Kendall was #1 in the National League.
Pudge Rodriguez.
And Pudge Rodriguez of Texas was #2, who led the American League. And then Charles Johnson third in the best percentage of throwing out base runners. Justice takes the fastball from Vosburg inside, and the count goes to 3 balls and 1 strike, 1 away. Runner on at second base, 6-3 lead for the Indians. These are important opportunities for Cleveland.
I think if Charles Johnson can improve his offense to get the numbers like Pudge Rodriguez, he too can sign a $40 million contract somewhere along the line.
Justice takes it inside and gets the walk. First given up by Vosburg. Puts runners on at first and second with 1 away for Matt Williams. And this will bring Larry Rothschild, the pitching coach, out. Jimmy Leland sending his pitching coach out to talk to Vosburg now, because he has already scored 2 runs in this game.
But by walking Justice, now he's going to have to face both of them.
He's got nowhere to, I mean, he can put them on, but it would load the bases. He's got no empty base here. And ball 1 to Williams. Big opportunity here. Get those runs back. 2 scored in the top of the inning by Florida. Vosburg, the veteran left-hander, in a jam right here. One 1-0 pitch, foul back, a ball and a strike on Williams. Matt Williams trying to continue that great finish he had to the regular season, as he had to make an adjustment here in the American League, and did so, and had a big month, final month of the season, when he hit over 300. And did struggle during the course of the first couple of months here for the Indians. Finished up hitting .263 at 32 home runs. And that one is outside. Vosburg bangs the glove here. 2-ball, 1-strike count. .6-3 ball game. Williams trying for the RBI, at least one of them here, if he can get a base hit. Vosburg checking at second base. And inside, and it's 3-1 on Williams. Through the snow flurries, it's come again. Delivery, and they've loaded him up. Second walk given up by Vosburg. Back to back here to Justice and Williams. And with one away, Cleveland's got the sacks full for the hottest hitter they've got going right now, Alomar.
Yeah, Jimmy Leland motioning to his infield to stay back for a double play. And one of the reasons because Alomar's been hitting the ball so well. If you bring the infield in, there's a better chance he might shoot one through there and pick up a couple of runs. Now he's just hoping that if he hits a rocket, it goes at one of his infielders.
Alomar takes it outside for a ball. A double, 2 singles, 2 RBIs for Sandy Alomar. 1-0 count on him, 1 down. 6-3 lead for the Indians. Alomar is ahead on the count, 2-0, and Dalton wants timeout.
Well, Dalton, the former catcher, certainly knows what to tell the pitcher. Looks like he's taking over Bonilla's job for the night.
Trying to quiet him down. Bonilla runs into the mound, has a number of times here in this postseason. Alomar, .336 hitter off left-handers. 5 of his 21 home runs off southpaws. That one to third. Bonilla, great stop. Gets to the bag. 1, trying for 2. No tag. A run will score. A great effort by Bobby Bonilla. Vizquel will score. The only out coming at third base in the force play on Justice.
This is a rocket. Nice stop by Bonilla. I think he had a pretty long way to go to the bag. He was going to take an excellent play to get him. The throw is offline. They had a choice to go to second for 2 as well. But as I look at the play, I think this is his best choice to get the double play. If he makes an accurate throw, he gets it. And the Marlins would have gotten out of the inning. Talking about Sandy Alomar hitting rockets, there's another one. Step on the bag. Tough to throw on the run like that accurately, and he can't get it done.
Third RBI of the game for Alomar as Vizquel scores a 7-3 lead for the Indians. Runners at first and second, and Jim Tomei to left field, but in the yard. Alou hauls it in, and that will do it. 1 run scores as they get it on the RBI fielder's choice, hit into by Alomar. And one of those 2 given up in the 6th. Cleveland gets back. Indians lead at 7-3 going to the 7th inning. There's Brian Anderson's numbers postseason with a 1-0 record and 4 games that he has appeared in so far. Anderson on here. Jared Wright with a chance to win it. Brian Giles comes on to play in left field. So Giles is on in left for Bip Roberts. And he comes on and gets a strike against Craig Counsell as we go to the 7th inning. 7-11-0 for the Indians. 3-5-2 up on the board for Florida. Craig Counsell quickly behind on the count here, 2 strikes, batting in that number 9 spot. And we go to the top of the order. And the Cleveland fans, as they generally are, up on their feet again. Oh-2 delivery on the way. Off the fist to short. Vizquel is there, and an easy out, 1 away. Well, Jared Wright, the 21-year-old, great performance here tonight. Can't do any more than what he did in this ball game, as he gave up the 3 runs on 5 hits, walked 5, struck out 5.
Yeah, talking to Mike Hargrove behind the game, before the game, he said that you know, he was kind of hoping that Wright would give him this type of performance. He felt that he would, primarily because they rested him 10 days, and they don't plan to use him anymore for the remainder of the season. So that was a good call by the staff, Mike Hargrove and his staff, to hold Jared Wright back and give him enough rest. He's thrown a lot of innings this year, more than he's ever thrown before. 9 days rest prior to this start. The youngest to start a World Series game since Brett Saberhagen with Kansas City back in 1985. Saberhagen pitched a 5-hit shutout. And Wright, 9th youngest pitcher ever to start a World Series game. Devon White already with the hat trick tonight, striking out 3 times.
Fouls that one back, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And I've been in this situation. Anytime where you've struck out, number of strikeouts, consecutive strikeouts going, and you get 2 strikes on you again, it's in the back of your mind.
Especially when you got 44,000 plus roaring.
Yeah, I'd love to see you do it.
He does. 4 strikeouts for Devon White in this game.
And Brian Anderson shows him a good changeup to pick up the strikeout. You can see the grip of the ball, all of his fingers on the ball. So the arm motion, the ball will not get to the plate as fast as the hitter expects when he sees the arm motion. And there's a strikeout and the golden sombrero for Devon White.
The 10th player in World Series history to have 4 strikeouts in a game.
Wow. Anybody ever had 5?
We're looking. Edgar Renteria has singled in 3 times up. He takes the pitch for a strike.
All 4 strikeouts, but Devon White are swinging. They say a swinging bat is a dangerous bat. Not necessarily an accurate bat, but dangerous.
Exceptions to every rule have been tonight. Lined up in center field and hauled in. Grissom. Renteria's retired. 2 down, and that'll do it. That'll do it here in the 7th inning. A 1-2-3 inning, 7th inning stretch time. Game 4 of the '97 World Series.
Artillery, we be in trouble.
And they have us. They have us lined up perfectly here. Tony Fernandez leads it off, and a big rip on that one. He's 1 for 3.
By the way, there has been a player that struck out 5 times in a World Series game. 1 since 1903. George Pipgras of the New York Yankees, October 1st, 1932, went down 5 times. The Platinum Sombrero.
Devon is not looking forward to that opportunity. 4 for Devon White in this game. Now, where did the term golden sombrero come from?
Well, you know, 3's a hat trick.
Yep.
Which, you know, and you wanted something big for 4, so the golden sombrero. And 5, you know, platinum's more valuable and harder to find than gold.
Line drive, base hit for Fernandez. Sheffield up, and he'll hold him to a single. Tony Fernandez, second hit, 2 for 4. What a World Series he's having when he gets in there. He's got 5 hits and 10 at-bats. Second start coming in this game at second base.
Tony going the other way with authority. You see how he steps into the ball as opposed to Renteria going the other way. And that's how you hit the ball to the opposite field with authority.
Marquise Grissom coming up. Nobody out. Grissom's going to try and continue and may have his last chance here. His hit streak of 15 consecutive World Series games in which he's had a hit Grissom has not had one tonight. He's 0 for 3. Tony Fernandez on at first base, drawing the attention of Ed Vosberg. Up high with a fastball.
Let's go back to Tony's at bat. Remember, we were watching Renteria and his foot go the other way, and he had problems hitting the outside pitch. Watch Tony Fernandez as he comes this way with the foot. He will step into the ball and hit the ball with authority to the opposite field.
To third, Bobby Bonilla got it in a hurry, dives and gets him. That may end the streak. Grissom grounds out. Down to second base goes Fernandez. Bonilla was playing in a bit on that anyway.
And that's the only reason he was able to throw Grissom out. It's still a close play. Grissom out by about a half a step. But if Bonilla is playing back, he will not get him. So Bonilla with a good throw, and you can see Grissom hustling for all he's worth. And he's aware of the fact he's had to hit the 15 straight games.
Sure.
But he's also aware of the fact he hit the ball well twice tonight. Didn't have anything to show for it.
So Marquise goes back with an 0 for 4. Now, top of the order, Brian Giles will get his first at bat. He came on for Biff Robertson left field. And Giles takes the pitch outside for a ball. Runner at second, 1 away. 7-3 lead for the Indians, who have garnered 12 hits so far in this game.
Giles is a stronger defensive player, particularly in the throwing arm. He saved a big run for Cleveland in the division series by throwing Tito Martinez of the Yankees out at home plate.
Brian Giles, a couple of games played, only 1 at bat so far in the World Series. And he bloops that one out towards center. It'll fall in for a base hit. Big jump by Fernandez. He'll score. 8-3 Cleveland RBI for Brian Giles.
Well, something the Indians are doing tonight that they didn't do last night. They continue to tack on some runs. Last night their offense was shut down in the late innings, and they lost the ball game when the Marlins came back. Fernandez, knowing exactly where the outfielder is, does not hesitate and comes on to score. He knows how well the ball was hit. When you're on second base in scoring position, you look around to see where the outfielders are playing. And he knew immediately that ball was going to fall in. Devon White couldn't get it.
So Brian Giles on at first base, 13 hits now, and an 8-3 lead for the Indians. Giles gets the RBI. Ed Vosberg with 1 down. Vizquel fouls that one off into the second deck. Vizquel 2 singles in 4 at bats. He has scored a run. Jimmy Leland has to be concerned here over the last 2 nights. They came away with that win last night 14-11, but Cleveland had 10 hits in that game. They have now picked up 13 in this one. And this offense, a high-powered offense, is coming around. Vosberg's got him picked off. Big move. Giles will be tagged out by Darren Dalton. A pickoff, 1-3 on Giles.
Well, Vosberg going to first, and it looked like Giles started on first movement. Might have been a hit and run. No, not with 2 out. Well, now there's 2 outs. Might have been a hit and run play on as Dalton runs him down for the second out of the inning.
Great pickoff. And that'll be taken inside for a ball. They're going to change that now to a caught stealing instead of a pickoff.
It goes as a caught stealing because Giles tried to advance to second base. If he's tagged out coming back to first, then it's a pickoff.
1-1 delivery, and it's outside. Vizquel now with 2 down, nobody on, and a 2-1 count. I'm asking the home plate umpire, Greg Kosk, I think what the count in fact is, and got it. Ed Vosberg, the left-hander, with a 2-1 pitch. That to left field. A lose there, and that will do it. So Vizquel on the fly ball out ends the inning, but another run added. 1 across. And the RBI picked up by Giles with a single, and Cleveland extends their lead to 8-3. Takes the pitch up high. Brian Anderson remains on working. We thank all of you who have posed some questions on our website. Juan Parra from Venezuela. We had to go look up the answer to this one. How many foreign players have been named MVP of the World Series? And we came up with the answer 3.
Going back to 1971, the first one. Great Roberto Clemente from Puerto Rico. Pedro Guerrero and Ron Cey. Of course, Pedro with the Dodgers in 1981 from the Dominican Republic. And Jose Rijo in 1990 of the Cincinnati Reds, also from the Dominican Republic. So 3 players, foreign-born.
MVPs of the World Series. And a strike taken by Sheffield. If you'd like to pose a question on our website, easy to do. Just log on, www.majorleaguebaseball.com. And we'll handle as many as we can, and appreciate your becoming part of our broadcast. www.majorleaguebaseball.com. 2 ball, 2 strike count.
We're getting some great questions, aren't
They are. They're great questions. I mean, they're interesting questions that I haven't really thought about. We'll take a look at. 2-2. Fans applauding for a K here. Anderson, 1 strikeout so far. Foul back by Sheffield. 0 for 2 and a walk in the game for Gary Sheffield.
Brian Anderson on the mound, working in the short sleeves. A native of Ohio, Geneva, Ohio, which is over near the Pennsylvania border. I'm sure it gets a little cool up there.
He's just trying to show the home folks the snow's not bothering him. Here's the 2-2 delivery. Strike 3 called.
Working in his 2nd inning, picks up his 2nd strikeout, and at a cold night in Cleveland, he freezes Gary Sheffield. Call strike 3 right to the glove. The reason why I say right, Anderson went to Wright State, so he's well educated in the art of pitching.
He's got a lot of rights here today.
Yeah, we do.
Bobby Bonilla fouls it back. Brian Anderson worked at both AAA and with Cleveland. He was 7-1 at Buffalo, where the AAA team is, and then 4-2 with the Cleveland Indians. He had 8 starts for the Indians. Towering silo shot in the infield. Williams called off by the first baseman, and Tomey makes the catch. He'll smile about it now, but his heart skipped a beat there.
You know what? That ball way up there. You mentioned a towering pop-up. Matt Williams and Tomey both had a shot at it. This ball got lopsided, I think, because of all the snow flurries that gathered on it on the way down. Watch Tomey stay with it. Williams gets out of his way, and Tomey makes the backhand catch.
And there are 2 down. Darren Dalton up, and he goes after the first pitch and fists that one foul. 2 down, bases empty, 8th inning. Dalton has doubled, scored, walked, and scored, and grounded out. Eight to 3 lead for the Indians. They have now out-hit Florida 13-6 as Darren Dalton gets the 6th hit. A single, so he continues to wield a strong bat in this lineup for the Marlins.
Yeah, he's 2 for 3 tonight with a couple of runs scored. He has scored 2 of their 3 runs. So the veteran who thought about retiring, 9 knee operations, somehow hung in there and gets a chance to play in the World Series one more time.
I'm mighty glad he hung on. Moises Alou coming up. Alou has drawn a walk and hit a home run in the 6th inning. A 2-run shot, his 2nd of the World Series. Off-speed pitch is in there for a strike.
See how Luke turned the top of his body, kind of pulled those hands through, got the good wood on it, and rode it to the seats. Still no batting gloves.
Throwing him off speed pitches by Brian Anderson. Ahead on the count 0-2. Popped up outside of first base. Jim Thome over and puts it away. And thanks the camera people for swinging the camera so he could get in between them to haul it in. So a good inning. Brian Anderson, 1 hit, 1 left on. Bottom of the 8th inning coming up. Indians on top, 8-3. On here in the World Series as a team. Well, they have found the pop. It's back. And the first pitch is a fastball taken inside for a ball.
And Gary had a feeling that after they hit under 200 in the American League Championship Series against Baltimore and eked out those wins, some weird plays during that series that enabled the Indians to win, they were going to get hot with the bats sooner or later. And no matter how cold the weather is, their bats have been on the opposite end of the spectrum the last 2 nights.
This team hit .286 during the regular season, 3rd best in the American League. They were 2nd in home runs. Powerhouse. 3rd consecutive division title won by Cleveland. 3 consecutive years of 200+ home runs. And that one overplayed. Renteria will still get the out. You won't see many made like that, but it'll just look like a 6-3 tomorrow morning.
Maybe Renteria lost sight of the ball. Maybe that's. He looks like he's playing in January, let alone October. Line drive to short. Now watch him go up. Ball hits off the heel of the glove. See, he's so athletic. He jumps higher than he even knows he can and knocks the ball down, then throws on to first. Yep, they don't dress like that in Barranquilla, I'll tell you that.
No, they don't. Nor in Miami, for that matter. Here's David Justice up against Powell. Justice takes the pitch for a ball. He's reached base via a single and a walk and has struck out twice in the game. 308 average for the series. Inside to him for a ball. Team went 44-37 during the regular season here at home. And they are looking to pick up their 6th postseason win. They're 5-3 at home in the postseason. 2-0 deliveries, a fastball down low, and a 3-0 count now on David Justice. 8 o'clock tomorrow night, right back here in Cleveland. It's supposed to warm up a little bit tomorrow. It may not be quite as cold here for game 5. Strike on the inside corner, 3-1. 38 degrees at the start of the game. The official temperature, winds were at 15 miles an hour. Wind chill was 18 degrees. Somebody sitting there in shorts.
Yeah.
A ball forward. Going to find a good psychiatrist here in town.
To get a new wardrobe, one or the other.
Yeah. Powell surrenders the walk. 1 down, Justice on at first base here in the 8th inning. 6 walks surrendered by the 4 Florida pitchers in this game. Matt Williams a chance to do more damage. 2 walks, a single, 2 runs scored. Smiling Vizquel and Grissom. Oh yeah, deep to left field. Kiss this baby goodbye.
Had a perfect night. He's been on all 5 times that he's come to the plate.
10-3 lead for the Indians.
And one thing I've always said, when you're up there and the previous hitter is walked, be ready to do business, because the pitcher's not going to walk 2 guys in a row, and he was ready.
Drilled that down the left field line. 2nd postseason home run for him. 2 RBIs. The only question was how far.
They were sitting there telling jokes and had to stop the punchline.
Alomar takes a strike. Big night this part of the order. as Matt Williams has scored 3 times, 2 RBIs. He's been on base all 5 times up. Alomar, 2 singles, a double, fielder's choice, 3 RBIs. And a 2-ball, 2-strike count on him here. And they've really gotten some numbers out of number 5 and 6 in the order. Two-ball, 2-strike count on Alomar. Bullpen struggling for the Marlins here. Vosberg and Powell now have given up 4 runs in relief in this game. Tony Saunders, their starter, only went 2+ innings, 6 runs and 7 hits. Is the pitcher of record to take the loss in this game. One of the 2 rookies who started, Jarrett Wright, chance to win this game. 6 innings, 3 runs on 5 hits. And the 21-year-old stands to be the winner. And a 10-3 lead for the Indians. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Alomar. Right back to the mound, knocked down. Powell will make the underhand flip over to first base for the 2nd out. Alomar retired. And this crowd has had a lot to watch tonight. Festive atmosphere, Christmas. And snow flurries coming down here all night long. Their team banging out 10 runs, 14 hits, and the veteran Oral Hershiser, who took the loss in his start, will get a chance again tomorrow. And the fastball misses inside to Jim Thome.
You know, as far as the Marlins go, this World Series is kind of going the same way the National League Championship Series went. Every other game, they alternated for the first 4. Marlins won, then they lost. Marlins won, then they lost. Then they came to game 5. And Levon Hernandez took over and won that one. Jimmy Leyland saw his rookie come up with a big win. And then they went out and beat Tom Glad and Kevin Brown in game 6. And they won the National League Championship. I bet you'd like to see the same thing happen in this World Series.
That's what he's going to be hoping for.
Yeah.
Relying on that 22-year-old again to get it done. Jim Thome takes the pitch inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Is barring a monumental rally by the Marlins in the 9th inning. Cleveland's going to come away with a win, and Hershiser going to have a chance to give his team, help his team to a lead in the series tomorrow.
But instead of Eric Gregg behind the plate, Randy Marsh will be calling balls and strikes.
And that's going to be a base hit. Jim Thome's on. His first hit of the ball game, a single here in the 8th inning, and hit number 15 put on the board for the Tribe.
These guys can hit. There's no doubt about it. They're doing some of the things now that they did during the regular season. You don't have a team batting average of .286 in the American League, only topped by Boston and the Yankees, to be completely shut down over a long period of time in the playoffs.
Jimmy Leyland literally had his fingers crossed coming into this World Series, hoping Cleveland would stay cold at the plate. And that has not happened. Nevertheless, even with a victory here by the Indians, it's only going to even up this series.
Exactly.
Tony Fernandez up. He is single twice, 2 for 4. Nobody wants him to get on base any more than the guy in the on-deck circle, Marquise Grissom. Because Marquise Grissom may get another shot at extending his World Series hit streak. He has gone 0 for 4 in the game. He's the only Indian without a hit among the regulars. 2-0 delivery towards short. Great stop made. Renteria goes to second. They get the out, and Grissom won't get the chance. Couple of runs added though here in the 8th inning via Matt Williams, his 2nd postseason home run. Renteria the glove to end the inning. Special guest, very special, Julie Croto.
Thanks, Gary. I'm here with Vera Clemente. Vera, 25 years ago, baseball lost a pioneer, Roberto Clemente. A lot of people have talked about what Robinson has done for African American players. Can you talk about what Clemente has done for Latin American players?
Yeah, he always was trying to, you know, not to fight, but to protect the Latin players, you know, and open doors for others.
You must be very proud of Eric Davis getting the award tonight.
I was very honored to be here tonight for the presentation of the Man of the Year award, and I'm very happy that Eric Davis received the award tonight.
Thank you very much. Gary, back to you.
Well, thank you very much. And we should mention another winner of that award, Ken Singleton. That's a great honor. Congratulations to you.
It certainly was. That was 1982. I also had the honor of playing for Roberto Clemente in winter ball, and I learned a lot from it.
Alex Arias is the pinch hitter for the Florida Marlins, leading it off here in the 9th inning.
In particular, Roberto Clemente came to me during the course of winter ball and said, "What do you want to get out of your winter ball session?" I said, "Well, I want to have a better chance to make the Mets in the spring." He said, "You will make the ball club in the spring." He said that one thing you should do, though, set your goals high. If you say you want to drive in 100 runs during the course of a season, really set your goal at 120. That way, if you mess up and drive at 109, you still got your 100. If you say you want to hit 300, say you want to hit 320. So if you hit 308, you've still hit 300. That's one thing I learned from Clemente, and that's like set your goals high.
And then you did it.
Yeah.
That's a great honor. 3-ball, 2-strike count. Everybody on their feet here at the Jake, and just about everybody has stayed, hoping to be able to celebrate here a win in Game 4. Arias, the pinch hitter, Johnson, and then Craig Counsell due up, bottom third of the order. Brian Anderson working his 3rd inning of relief. If he can get the 3 outs, he will pick up the first save he has ever had in his pro career anywhere. Second baseman Tony Fernandez, 1 down.
So where the Cleveland bullpen failed last night, Brian Anderson has shouldered it alone tonight.
3 powerful innings he will have pitched if he finishes here in this game, having given up only 1 hit so far. Hargrove's going to give him the chance to have that first professional save. Fastball strike on the outside corner, Charles Johnson. He's taken an 0 for 3.
And how will it feel for a native of Ohio to pick up his first save in the World Series?
Wonderful.
Well, right here in Cleveland.
You'll never know it was cold, I guarantee you that. Sandy Alomar, rather, with the 3 RBIs in this ball game. Matt Williams, 2 RBIs with a home run.
Another native of Ohio.
Jimmy Leyland. His mom here last night, 85 years old. Yeah. His mom stayed for the entire game last night. Went home in a limo. Got home at 5 a.m. Jimmy said all of the party that came up with her in the limo were all sleeping in the back seat. She was in the front seat talking to the driver. 5 o'clock in the morning.
He said the Cleveland fans were nice enough to give her extra blankets.
Matt Williams, 2 down.
And the fans who gave her the extra blankets left in about the 7th inning. So some other fans gave her another blanket, had a big logo of Chief Wahoo and Cleveland Indians on it.
Generosity still appreciated. Kurt Abbott will be the pinch hitter for Craig Counsell. 2 down, 9th inning, nobody on. The Indians 1 out away from evening up this World Series at 2 games apiece. Strike 1. Oral Hershiser will make the start in Game 5 tomorrow. 8 o'clock will be on the air. Brian Anderson 1 out away from a save. 0-1 delivery. Now you'll hear why the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is appropriately located in Cleveland, Ohio. Anderson for the 3rd out. Series is tied at 2 apiece. Tony Saunders, the two rookies who matched up the loss. Brian Anderson the save.
Only the second time in World Series history that a World Series has had two rookie pitchers win a ball game. Jared Wright for the Indians. Livan Hernandez has already won one for the Marlins.
So they've evened the series by winning this ball game. We'll be right back here tomorrow. Game 5 tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. Livan Hernandez, the rookie. Oral Hershiser, the veteran, will go at it. Ramirez will try for another home run. He's got 9 in postseason play now as he got this one. A game that was played almost in its entirety in the snow. Didn't seem to affect the home run hitters, though. Jim Thome right there, blast the other way, and Matt Williams late in the ball game, lining one into left field. Good for 2 RBIs. The long ball created some mighty happy Indians on that bench tonight. They've got the victory, and this series is tied at 2-2. Is this game just going to go back and forth depending on which night it is? Well, we'll find out one tomorrow. For Ken Singleton, Julie Croteau, and all of our crew here in Cleveland, thanks for joining us around the world. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night. So long from Cleveland.